Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tabletop Notch. If you were watching the countdown, we apologize for some minor technical difficulties. We had to reboot the stream. A little encoder issues for anyone who's OBS familiar. It is a constant pain in the ass. But what a wonderful piece of software. Welcome back, everybody. Tonight's going to be Chapter 3 of Season 2 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. We ended at the sort of evening hours here in the Stout Hill corridor as we work our way up, eventually toward the Broken Crown Station, and then to the northern Stout Hills and beyond. But before that, we have a little bit of business to take care of. Shall we do our usual spiel?
Point that shit out. Bingo! So if you are new to the show and are watching live on Twitch and on a desktop, those two caveats, there's going to be a little cue right where these folks are pointing. If you hover over with your cursor, that's going to be marking like all of our quests that are on the immediate horizon for us. Some good, some bad, all exciting though. So please feel free to utilize that if you're just getting caught up.
Are you selling quests?
Yeah.
Good, some are bad, they're all exciting.
You take a bad one, I'll throw in a good one.
She has quests if you're going.
After your 10th quest, you get another one.
Skyrim?
I think so, yeah.
That's all I got.
Khajiit.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm also going to play that game.
Yes. Next, what do we got? Let's keep
Oh,
rolling.
I do this part next.
You do this
Yeah,
next.
if you missed this episode, if you're missing this episode right now, if you're planning on missing this episode later, you can catch the episode in podcast form. I think that's a keeper. You can catch this episode in podcast form. It gets released every Tuesday morning. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon, and a bunch of others whose name escapes me because I don't have them. But they're all great.
He doesn't know. We don't know where our own.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And we always do like a live re-air of the episode. We re-air this episode every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. When we say live re-air, what does that mean? Because that feels like a contradiction. It's not. We re-air it and we're watching it live together. So in that way it's live, but at the same time it's a re-air. It's fun. People were in chat. They
We
asked
get
us
to
questions
chat more because we're not.
because we're not playing
Playing.
live.
Yes.
No, you didn't like those editions? I've been workshopping it all week.
That's okay.
You should have seen him practicing in the mirror.
Just pacing the living room. Re-air, it's a live re-air. Re-air live. That's good.
We waited too long to add that. Like, these people have been watching week after week after week, and they're like, oh,
Been like,
that's
yeah, we
what
get
it
it
is.
now.
Yes.
We get it. A lot of you probably found us on social media. If you're here, thank you.
Yes.
You can follow us on social media on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter.
There we go.
I was waiting for it.
And we're there at Tabletop Notch.
Across platforms.
Across platforms. We post a lot of fun shorts.
We're everywhere.
We've been posting a lot of BTS stuff.
Yes.
And you can always let us know what kind of stuff you want us to post. And a great way to let us know what kind of stuff to post is
On Discord. Another one of the things you can find in our link tree. I think everything that John's talked about is available in the link tree. And the Discord is available in the chat right now. Because I
Yay.
saw Jordan really
No
finger
link,
that button.
no link tree required.
Exactly. There you will find all sorts of info about us, info about Season 1, Season 2. I think Jordan just created a great channel for people to share their own homebrew stuff, and there's some really cool stuff going in there. So people are talking about our show, their own campaigns and stuff, and just a lot of. It's a wonderful little growing community. Join us over there. But yeah.
Tea was way too hot. Sorry.
Speaking of homebrew, we'll just transition right into our Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. A lot of people are enjoying the early fruits of the Patreon. A couple things regarding that. We will be releasing consistently, this is not something new yet, that will come at the beginning of next month, but sort of very nicely, professionally formatted versions of all our homebrew content. The first one we did was the Sepsis, which is Erlin's sort of myconid-infused special powers, but it's been adapted to all classes, not just monks. There will be more coming there, very notably some stuff regarding merch, which we now have the second wave of. We mentioned last week that we were concerned about some of the printing things. We've switched to a different thing.
Guess it's still not ready yet.
It's not
Don't
yet,
get
but
excited.
it's coming. It's coming. It's very close.
Start Googling.
And we're very excited now about some of the stuff that we're working on, what we've seen. So we're very excited to bring that to you. Hopefully by next week we should have some updates in that arena. If the shipping gods smile upon us. The meddling god of shipping, FedEx.
Who is indeed a meddling god.
Fickle one.
FedEx.
Yes, FedEx.
And
It's very powerful. We are at their mercy.
If you're curious, we posted a sneak preview of the sepsis package
Oh yeah.
on
It's
our
there.
Instagram.
Yeah, so cool stuff to check out. A bunch of people, subscribed this week. We're very, very grateful. We got some great comments through there. So thank you guys so much. Next.
Are we ready for the marathon?
Here it is.
All right.
Let's
So
go.
I see that we've already hit a level 5 hype train.
Still
All right.
don't know what that means.
We're riding it though. We're riding it.
Here we go. Inside Alloy, subscribe with Prime. Bloody Pixel _ subscribe with Prime. Sharkman111, subscribe for a month. Eric7 _6 Yemen, subscribe with Prime. Jeremiah, welcome. Jeremiah and Dude are our timestamp folks on YouTube. They do absolute amazing work, and they're making progress every day. They're fantastic. So thank you both so very much again for all that you do. Jeremiah also subscribes, so thank you very much. To the Maxwell, subscribe. Viking Plague 88, subscribe. GF Powers forwarded 100 bits. That was the first type train. Viking Plague 88 did 50 bits. FNEP, subscribe with Prime.
Oh my
Viking
gosh.
Plague did 1,000 bits. Oh, Platitudinous Platypus. I love that name. You gave out 1 community sub. Kaisage777
Great.
also resubscribed. Crazy Loca gave out 5 community subs. I think I also just saw an email notification saying Crazy Loca did our Patreon, so thank you very much.
Oh, double
Amazing.
duty.
An anonymous gifter did 5 community subs. Pokedoga did 5 bits. Snapping Cobra did 1,000 bits. Banish Raven did 200 bits. Crazy Loca, oh my god, gifted a sub to me.
Named and shamed for not subbing to our own channel. Ooh.
I thought it expired.
Oh, special badge on the.
You get to be on the show
we're
now. We'll
going
kick
for
her
that.
off next week and you can come in.
We're making a
no.
special badge on the intro video for bot. One of us.
Oh yeah, I
subs.
did give the Moobot a slide because somebody gifted our
Moobot
Moobot
got gifted us up. Hilarious.
But I will use my Prime to subscribe to another wonderful channel.
Hmm.
Hopeful Optimist resubscribed. Crazy Loca gave out 5 more community subs. Kaisage777 gave out 5 community subs. Snapping Cobra gave out a sub.
Oh my goodness.
Postils, I think I'm saying that right. Community sub, thank you so much. Hartman _, who's also a patron as well. Resubscribe with Prime, thank you so very much.
You guys are making this part
goodness.
hard. Holy smokes.
my
Good thing I'm a fast talker.
You're gonna become an auctioneer by
Crushed
then.
it.
exactly.
Absolutely
I would
crushed it. I'm glad I went to.
I would have so much fun.
Thank
Yes,
you
thank you
guys
for
so
the
much.
warm-up.
Holy smokes. The beginning of every stream is, we can't believe it, and it's awesome every single time. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Ding.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Is it time to dive in, everyone? Anything else? that we
Snapping
want to
Cobra
shout out?
94 did 100 bits, and that's it.
Thank you very much. Oh, I'm going to sneak this in. I'm going
What?
to mention at the end as well. Next week is our first guest in the new studio. I already mentioned this.
I almost spoiled it last week, and you looked at me. You gave me the look.
Well, now I'm giving the
Spoil
full green light.
I'm feeling bad about that
He's
all
the game
week.
master. He gets to say it.
Shut up.
We're super excited. So if you want to see somebody throw a wrench into our plans, as always, tune in next week. I'll mention that again at the end. But so everybody look forward to our guest appearance. Hopefully more to come after that. We're in negotiations, in talks with some other people.
Our people are
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to
yeah.
their people.
Yes.
Very official.
So yes, just wanted to mention that. I will mention it again at the end. But now we're gonna throw it over to the intro, and when we come back, we will dive in to season 2,
Oh my
chapter
gosh.
3. Let's hit up with the intro. In Season 2, Chapter 2, Abrasion Contagion, the treant followed up its opening wallop with a volley of splintered shards that rained down in the nearby river. Despite shielding themselves from the lumber as best they could, Graven caught a stray plank to the head that knocked him unconscious, and Erlin scrambled over to stabilize him while they drifted downstream. As Orba ran to the closest bank with a length of rope to haul them in, Saphira had her hands full trying to corral all 4 horses, 2 of which had gone sprinting ahead after narrowly avoiding a thrashing. After her first toss was unsuccessful, Orba wound up for another try, and during that time, Erland pushed off of what he thought was a jagged rock, but turned out to be a crocodile lying in wait. To avoid further injury and potentially having 2 unconscious bodies floating down the stream, Erland was forced to dip into his well of septic energy, and in doing so triggered an overflow of toxicity that warped his skin and face with a horrible, sickly complexion.
Nasty boy.
Finally, Orba reeled in her allies, and while Graven's condition was nothing a quick potion of healing couldn't fix, familiar heavy footsteps were heard lumbering in our direction. So it wasn't time to sit and reflect. Saphira met the group halfway, and we saddled up in haste, riding further up the Stout Hill corridor until the treant gave up its pursuit. Catching our breath, we licked more than just our wounds, as we discovered Erland had some kind of rash or discoloration where the treant had touched his bare skin. Saphira recognized it as wilting blight, an especially curious revelation given that this disease was exclusive to wooded plants, and she'd never heard of it being passed to an animal or a person. The blight's primary danger was in starving its host of hydration, so we knew we'd have to monitor Erland's health, but we hoped that a rest in the near future would show improvements, and would give Graven a chance to prepare a spell that could purge him of this condition. Maybe. Before that, however, we needed to make use of what little remaining daylight we had, so we pressed on. Sometime later, we spotted a small rowboat that seemed to have crashed into the east bank of the river, its lone occupant splayed out with bloody streaks and tattered clothes that looked very similar to the trappings of the adepts at the Natural Studies Institute in Mokmu. His potential reasons for being here were enough to pique our curiosity, but as we got closer, the mounds of moss and weeds that the boat had collided with began to rustle and shake. Well camouflaged in these wooded surroundings, it was a pair of brackish trudges, boar-like plant creatures with long tusks for defending against predators. Our efforts to stay quiet were short-lived, and sensing their agitation building, Orba attempted a spell meant to instill fear, hoping that we could grab whatever was left behind and get out without a larger conflict. Unfortunately, one of the trudges did resist the effects and charged forward to an already weakened Erland, who immediately hit the ground and had to be revived. When we got our bearings, we put some newly learned techniques into action for the first time: healing spirits, bolts of lightning, and a powerful stunning strike, which combined with the Cause Fear spell allowed us to fully control the battlefield and overwhelm our foes. In the end, it was all worth it. Besides some personal effects, we found a pouch with 3 charcoal and collie pellets, an invaluable tool for managing Erland's sepsis, or perhaps a bargaining chip, as there was also a letter describing a sick Elatrian who was waiting for his shipment. Speaking of the Elatrians, it wouldn't be long before we'd cross paths with them for the first time since entering the corridor, though the conversation would be brief. A halfling bolted from Trickster's Thicket and swam to the eastern shore, while being chased by 2 elves, and though we wanted to avoid getting involved, Orba did lie about which direction the halfling fled. The situation didn't develop any further, so we found a spot off the road to make camp, and we set up some traps. And Graven used a bit of magic to discern the extent of Erland's ailment. As we laid our heads down, we crossed our fingers that the wilting blight wouldn't spread too quickly, and we wondered. What was this mystery Elatrian elf afflicted with that he required a special delivery all the way from the Natural Studies Institute? Would we benefit from, or face any repercussions for, helping that halfling escape through the trees? And what would Cliff Ironcloud think about his precious Reaper licking random infections that she comes across? We find out now, on Season 2, Chapter 3 of A Peek Beneath the Veil.
Look, Reaper Orba's a dummy.
When we learn.
Also, Solution just rated us for 15 viewers. Thank you, welcome, folks.
Hey.
We're just getting
Just
started.
getting started.
That's your excuse.
I'm -1.
You're like, I'm dumb when I'm in my new hard to get form.
Dumb when it comes to arcane spells.
No, I'm just a dummy.
Graven and Orba finally understand.
He's like, I like you better in this. I don't feel so stupid. Between the theatrics of this somewhat perilous stretch of road, the booby-trapped boxes, the easily startled woodland creatures, the moments of calm are quite calm indeed, almost serene. The area has a secluded allure to it, not unlike the Ackley Grove, but whereas the Grove was defined by its tempests and constant motion of the elves throughout the different regions, Ver, Isi, Mil, Itu, and Des, you get the impression that Trickster's Thicket is defined by its stoicism, undisturbed, pristine, a constant effort by the Elatrians to keep it exactly as it is, as it was. As you lay down to rest, the quiet affords you the time to think that you never seemed to have in Navikapura. Even the majority of your traveling was done using the Steederway, the breakneck pace of which kept you mostly focused on not inhaling dust from the tunnels. With eyes closed, your thoughts drift in and out. In and out. But for Orba, some of those thoughts seem not your own. For the first time since your initial encounter with Celis, you've spent an extended portion of the day in your Reaper form. And occasionally, an unfamiliar voice will pass through your mind. Or you'll get an image of a place that you've never been, memories taken from elsewhere and slotted in among your own. These slices of life come quickly, and they often overlap. It's hard to discern where one begins and another ends. Sometimes it feels as if you're standing in the center lane of one of those Steederway tunnels, and the memories go racing by on either side of you. And the only evidence that they were ever really there are the clouds of dust that linger in the air. Memories that you have. There's one that you don't recognize, and it's gone just like that. As you have this sort of metaphorical tunnel that you're, with eyes closed, standing in the middle of, you see two images bearing down on you. You think that if you tried, you might be able to latch on to one of them before it disappears.
Oh my God.
Coming in from the distance, one of the images appears to be a person, the other a place. Which do you focus on?
Person.
Give me an Arcana check.
As a Reaper.
Yes.
Good luck.
What are you?
It's not as good.
I'd like to snooze real fast and turn back into regular.
Yeah.
8.
8. You're only able to discern a few details as the memory goes flying by. You see a figure. Can't tell race. Can't tell who it is. Dressed in a long black robe. Sleeves so long that they drape down almost to the floor. He looks like he's speaking to a large group of people. Perhaps a congregation. And at one point, he holds up a book that has a symbol on it, sort of holds it up, as if sort of preaching to the crowd. A symbol that you don't recognize. And a symbol that you're unable to make out in the time that you can focus on the image. And the memory's gone. Damn it. 2 more images come barreling down, flashing through your mind. One of them looks like it's some kind of fight taking place. A combat between 2 people. And the other one, a flickering flame. Which do you focus on?
Flame.
Give me an Arcana check.
Not that die. 14.
14. The flickering flame grows, until it swells into a great roaring bonfire, crackling. A crowd has gathered around the bonfire, and they're hurling things into the fire. books, manuscripts, individual pieces of parchment. Throwing them into the fire, and with each one it kind of goes up in a little bit of flame, fuels the fire, grows bigger, bigger. With each item tossed in, the fire grows larger, but it's actually losing its color. Still crackling with warmth, but the reds, the oranges, and the yellows turn to blacks, whites, and grays. The crowd cheers as the color fades. And finally, there's an eruption of ash and embers, as if the fire itself detonates. And the skin and the clothes of all the people watching are covered in ash. All these people sort of bathed in this torrent, tsunami of ash that washes over them. They look around to each other, all the people standing around the bonfire. And a gust of wind comes through. And as the gust of wind comes through, people hold up their hands and the ash begins to blow away, and their fingers, wrists, hands, each person disintegrating as the wind comes through the valley. The image is gone. 2 more images come. Down the tunnel. One of them, some kind of trial taking place. Someone sort of being judgment put upon this person. Another, a trade taking place. Someone exchanging something or giving something. Which do you focus on?
Trial.
Give me a history check.
I don't know.
I was like, history.
I hate having to choose. And I don't even have to choose.
Man. 6.
Again, some of the details difficult to latch onto. What you can pick up are just a few things here. You see a heated discussion taking place between a man and a woman wearing vaguely religious attire. Again, difficult to discern if it's... You certainly don't recognize that it's from a specific denomination or something of that kind. They appear to be pleading their case to a panel of 7 others that are seated in high-backed chairs. And they frequently point to a vague figure who seems to be shackled in a number of different places. His wrists, arms, chest, waist, legs, ankles, neck, each with a different brace. In addition to the chains, the figure is kept within some kind of transparent box. Obviously a dangerous individual, or so they think. One of the 7 seated figures rises, holds up a hand to silence the man and the woman arguing. He looks to the 3 seated figures on his left, looks to the other 3 seated figures on his right, and they all nod. And it looks like the person who stood is about to sort of give a verdict, a judgment, and the memory goes by. You wait for more images that don't seem to come. Just pieces of voices barreling through the tunnel. Give me either a history or an arcana check.
Let's go Arcana. Let's go to my roots. This guy. There we go. 23.
Oh! Yes. The words pass by quickly. And one word that just for some reason rings more vibrant. You hear it in your head. Remember. And with that word that you latch onto, it seems to pass a knowledge onto you that you didn't have before. Something that just unlocks a little piece of your mind. You chose Arcana, Arcana, History, Arcana.
God damn it, I hate you.
What the fuck is this?
Oh.
And with the memories that you've managed to latch onto and the words that you hear, you're able to latch onto a spell that was previously unavailable to you. Something of a time past that now seems a part of your arsenal, and as soon as you know that you can access it, Suddenly, it feels innate, as if you've always known it. It doesn't feel new.
Oh my god.
And you have access to that spell in Reaper form specifically.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I'm gonna read it.
You can read it
Should I read it out loud?
if you like to.
Please.
Okay. All right, it's a level 3. It's called
Ooh.
planar tether. Is that how I pronounce it?
Planar
Planar. All right, here we go. You attempt to tether one creature that you can see within range to your current plane of existence. The range is 60 feet. The target must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be tethered. A tethered creature can't leave the plane it's tethered to by any means for the duration of the spell. Any ability or spell that would cause the creature to change planes fails. If I'm wielding my Scythe of Extinction, this spell does not require concentration. If you stop concentrating on the Scythe of Extinction, Jesus, while the tether's active, it ends.
So there's a couple things sort of about it. There are creatures who can sort of travel between planes, especially certain undead creatures and things, or celestial creatures.
Yeah.
Also, isn't blinking technically?
Yes, that's
leaving
another
the
thing,
plane?
is some spells like Blink have you transport back and forth. If you cast that on someone who was blinking, they would be unable. The spell would fail. Yes, exactly. So it anchors something to the material plane of existence that you're currently on, or if you're on.
We fought
That's a
someone who was
god-killing
blinking,
spell.
didn't they, a while back?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
we
did?
did.
Yes,
It was
one of the
awful.
black lions.
It was super
back on the
shitty. It was
Shocking
the
Rock.
worst, and we never got her, did we? No.
I think she got away.
She did.
Oh, damn.
Let's go find
So
her.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna get her now. No bitch.
It's a spell for sort of keeping things within the material
That's
plane.
why.
Whoa. Damn it.
Oh,
God
damn.
killing.
That is a
Great way to
god-killing
kill
spell.
gods.
I hate all of this. I mean, this is very exciting, but oh, okay.
So Orba, a little sort of restless in her bedroll as she has the memories pass back and forth, but picks up just a little piece of knowledge that once seemed inaccessible and now seems as if it was always a part of her. I'm gonna have everybody now roll their watches for the evening.
Everyone be vigilant.
Perception. I imagine. Perception
Erlen's
checks,
not
yeah.
I would
vigilant,
also
but
like
you're
to do
sick, so you get a
something on that.
pass.
Sure. Which
Perception.
watch were you?
Second
watch.
Oh, so
So sorry,
perceptive.
guys.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry.
Are you gonna be worse than me?
9.
19.
7.
Dirty one.
No!
9, 1, and 7? Ooh.
Wow.
All of our
Everyone
shit's
gets
gonna
Told
get
you I'm not dummy.
Everyone's like dicking around, and Severa's like, "Hey, here's something. Check that out."
It's like, what did I tell you guys about being hunted?
You begin your watches. Erland first, as the rest get into their bedrolls and begin a different kind of sleep. The past few days, you've enjoyed the comforts of either all hands on deck or the Uba Ale House, and it's nice to be out in nature, but it's not exactly the comfortable mattresses that you've grown accustomed to the past few days. And as Erland begins his first watch, you're struggling to stay focused, and it's mostly due to that scratchy throat feeling that seems to have come as a result of the wilting blight. You feel that kind of dry mouth. It just turns into just an uncomfortable, deeply unsettling feeling in your throat. And it feels like your throat, just over the time that you're watching, just is closing and closing to the point where, like, getting a full breath of air is a struggle. You hear, in addition to your sort of wheezing, the buzzing of insects that kind of find their way to that back shoulder there, that's covered up but still emitting a kind of sweet, decaying scent. Time goes on, and you're maybe halfway through your watch, so an hour goes by, and it just gets worse and worse, and you're worrying at this point that sleeping is going to be difficult. Trying to intake breaths, feeling deeply dehydrated, and at a certain point you just have this feeling that you need water. You need to find a source of water that can make you feel that you're not sort of gasping for breath.
All right, I assume we can still hear the river. We're
Yeah,
still
you guys
very
aren't
close.
far from it. You're on the other side of the road, but it's not far away.
I mean, do I have anything left in like a water skin or something like that, or
You drank that during the travel. You have your water skin,
Great.
but yeah.
So I'll sort of take that out. I'll take my sort of bag with me just in case, my weapons.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sort of try to keep an eye out around me, make my way down to the river.
Give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Sleeping ass bodies. Or soft sleeping bodies.
Jesus.
Guys, I've rolled 3 times this episode. All of them have been 4s.
Dummy.
A 7. It's another 7.
You work your way over to the bank, and you're trying your best to keep note of your surroundings, but
Nat 20.
you wasted it. You're just finding it incredibly difficult to not focus on anything but getting water. It's like overwhelming, this need to sort of get your way to the bank, and you start to move quicker and quicker just to get there faster. And you get to the bank. What do you do there?
I'm gonna, before I fill out my water, I'm just gonna water on my face. Just wiping
you
off my
feel-
eyebrows again.
It seems to like seep into your pores. It feels good on your face, but even more like it felt good when you splashed it against your face, but then 10 seconds after that again, sort of feeling that sort of uncomfortable dryness.
Try and find like an area of running water where I can fill up my water skin.
Sure.
That's hopefully.
I mean, the stream's running
Yeah,
there.
so-
You fill up the thing.
Take a big sip and I'll look back at the camp as best I can from where I am.
Sure, you can't see them. You know where the camp is.
Yeah, like I'm assuming I can see to see if I see any movement around.
Nothing that you
Check.
notice there and here at the side of the ring.
Finish the whole water skin.
You finish the whole water skin, and finally. And once again, that feeling hits you.
I'm just gonna keep drinking. I'm just gonna.
And you find when you put your hands into the water to fill the water skin, even before you bring it up to drink it, there's this like wash over of relief, almost as if the water is absorbing into your skin.
Okay, I'll fill up the water skin this time. I'll seal it up so I have it, and then I'll just sort of, I'll take off both my sort of shoes.
Okay, quickly kind of
Gross,
wheezing as you do
man.
it.
And just sort of sit in the water with my bare feet.
As soon as you plant your feet kind of in the water and you feel the cool water running over it, you feel breath kind of returning to normal.
He's a plant boy.
And even though, sure, you do, and even though, sort of breathing and hydration most of the time feel like two separate things, right now they feel like the same thing.
Oh
Like
my
every bit of water that passes over your leg feels like a deep new breath in your chest there.
He's got gills between his toes.
We're gonna wake up to Tree Boy.
And you breathe. And as you're sitting there by the bank, sorry, was there something you wanted
No,
to say?
that's it.
He's like Kevin in The Office. He can't be not saying, oh, yeah.
Stupid.
And while you're sitting there by the bank with your feet in the water, you hear a voice coming from your left. Where the upriver, you see a man in a rumpled brown jacket. You all right there, son? He's balding, with tufts of hair on either side of his head. He's old. He looks weathered, kind of sun-kissed skin that looks rough to the touch. He sits very still, and he's holding a small fishing rod, the line of which dangles in the water in front of him, kind of fighting against the current. So he's sitting up kind of straight with the fishing rod, and the little end of the line there is just sort of pushing against the current as he holds it out. You look a little peckish.
Have you been sitting there the whole time?
He smiles. You hear another voice coming from your right. He says he's all right, but I know what you're thinking. Wilting blight's going around again. Spreads faster than bark weevils in the summertime. And you look to your right, where another elderly man is seated, kind of similar in physical appearance, but his jacket is a lighter color and it has polka dots, sort of an unusual design. And it's difficult to see sort of in the dark of night, but a little bit of what little moonlight is peeking through. They look like kind of reddish polka dots. It almost has a kind of comical appearance, this sort of lightly colored jacket with reddish polka dots. And this man, unlike the one who's kind of sitting up straight with a fishing rod, he's hunched over by the bank and he's got his hands around his knees, so he's almost like in a little ball. And like you, he has his feet in the water there, so the water's kind of running over his feet. And the guy with the fishing rod kind of pipes up again. Oh? Is it the blight you've got, son?
I'm gonna close my eyes really, really, really tight. And open them again. Shit. I think so, yes. That's what my friends tell me.
Better keep your distance, then. Probably shouldn't be running through the forest. Best not to be selfish.
And what are you two lads doing out by the river this late?
And the other one who's kind of balled up there speaks. We're always out by the river. Question is, what are you doing?
Trying to breathe.
Can't you see it, Berry? He's looking for a good place to die. Aren't we all?
I think I've been looking for a good place to die for about a month now.
And the one with its hands around its knees sort of... Too true. Sickness or strife, or the slow march of time. I say the best place to die is the one where you're surrounded by family. You just want to look at them as you pass on, and know that in some small way, you made the world a better place for them.
Unless you've got a rather large boat that can get me to a different continent, I don't know if that's in the cards for me.
I don't have that.
That's
the problem, though, isn't it? I don't think you're certain you have made the world a better place for your family. Maybe feeling quite the opposite.
All right. Are you a hallucination, or are you some sort of forest spirit?
And the two of them kind of look over at each other. I don't think we're either, son.
Then who are you?
Just ones who enjoy the forest from time to time.
Have you known anyone to have wilting blight before?
Oh, yes. It's quite a problem around here. And I suppose you'll have to see to your problem so you can live long enough to give yourself the chance. And then you can find a good place to die.
How did the ones before me cure their wilting blight?
Oh, they didn't.
Well,
You're sort of, different yourself, aren't you?
that's not the first time I've heard that.
Now, you've got less time than you think, doesn't he, Cypress? That cocky posture of a young one who thinks they're invincible. If you know someone who might be able to help you, you'd best find them. And don't let anyone talk you out of it.
Who would talk me out of it?
Oh, you'd be surprised what you can be talked out of.
Cypress, was it?
Yes.
And what's your friend's name?
That's Barry. And that's Cypress.
I don't think anyone I know right now is exactly trying to talk me out of getting cured.
Good for you.
How long do I have before I need to be cured?
Difficult to say. How long did you think you had?
Oh God.
I thought if I just kept my feet in water until morning, I'd be all right.
Not the blight we're talking about, son.
Five, maybe 10 years.
1 to 2, I think. And even that might be generous. Like I said, time to start looking.
Do you know Blom Atula?
No. I don't know much of anyone except Barry here.
I was told if I found more naturalists, found more experts, I could prolong my life. I was told I was different.
You are different. That is true. But I think that there are no experts for what you've got. Time to go to the source, I think.
A myconid cave?
Shh, son. You'll scare the fish. Kind of goes back to focusing on his fishing rod there.
What's the source?
We'll be here in the morning if you need us. And the one with his arms kind of around his knees curls up a little bit. You see his eyes closed. And the two of them kind of very quietly sit there by the side of the mountain.
What's the source? Cypress, what's the fucking source?
Give me perception checks.
Let's go.
Make me up, bitch.
15.
8.
Fucking suck a goddamn dick. 3.
Saphira's sitting there with her bedroll just kind of hearing noise. And you sit up and you didn't hear what was said or anything, but you look up and you see that Erland is not here in the camp.
Okay, I'm gonna stand up and see if I can't, once I'm up, kind of...
Give me an investigation check.
While I'm yelling, can I...
Yes.
I'm gonna walk and... Who was fishing? Barry was fishing?
No, Cypress was fishing, Barry's
Great.
got his...
I'm gonna
arms
walk
around.
over to Barry then.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sort of walk through the water towards Barry.
Okay. You do so?
Great.
He was only 10, 15 feet away.
I'm gonna grab, see if I can I
Sure.
grab his shoulders?
Sure, you do
I'm gonna
so.
grab his shoulders. Barry, what's the fucking source?
Investigation check.
Natural 1.
Natural 1. You sort of are looking around, and finally you're not able to find it, but you hear Erland's voice, and it sounds like shouting coming from the
Okay,
back.
can I kind of... Erland, are you alright?
And you're shaking him. No response from him at all.
Can I try to go towards
You
where
can now
I
that he's
hear?
yelling, you can hear where the voice is.
Okay.
You start to work your way over to the bank, and finally you sort of push past that final row of vegetation that gets you to the river, and you see Erland, and there's this kind of thin, trunked tree with a vine hanging down into the water that's sort of gently lapping against the side of the river, and Erland is shaking the tree, and leaves are falling down from the
Okay,
branches.
I'm gonna touch him and... Erland, mate, stop!
Do I see Saphira?
Yeah, she walks up to you and
No, hang on, no. Don't say anything, we're walking back to camp.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
I can't breathe unless I'm in water.
What?
I can't breathe unless I'm fucking in water, Saphira.
He's in water right now? Wait,
He's
you're in the-
like
oh,
just
I
his
didn't
just
realize.
his ankles.
I thought he had walked out of the water.
Just on the side of the back.
I really didn't picture that one. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Right. Well, look, I think we're gonna need to move up. Graven has to heal you. Okay, I'm gonna bring him.
Fine. No, let him. He can't heal me until he rests. I'm fine. This and fucking
Don't touch anything, mate. Please. Please.
You turn around. Are you pointing at the second one?
Yeah.
You turn around and point at where Barry was seated, and there's a little bush with sort of red fruit on the branches,
my God.
little berries hanging off of the ends of the tree.
Fuck, I'm gonna dunk my whole head in the water.
I'm just gonna...
Erland, listen. It looks like you're having a hallucination of some kind, obviously.
They're forest spirits. They could be forest spirits.
Saphira's gonna make a show of looking around while not really looking around and kind of being like, no, mate, no, there are
Could
not...
be forest spirits. I
Erland,
can't be having a...
Erland, listen to me. You got sick. You caught a bug in the forest. Graven is a very skilled healer, and he can likely fix this. We've got charcoal and cully. We've got solutions.
Charcoal and collie pellets only heal
Sure.
toxins.
Look, we're gonna try a bunch of different things. I think I should wake up Graven.
No, I'm fine if I just
Mate,
rest in the water.
can I
Graven...
look at his feet to see if I see anything unusual about his feet?
Sure, give me an investigation check.
I want to see if he's sprouting roots, this little plant boy. 23.
23. So without like being super obvious about it, you take a look down and you can see the water swirling around his feet. There's no roots or vegetation or anything that look like anything's growing, but you can see like his skin like almost like swelling a little bit as if it's absorbing the water. Like his calves look sort of engorged in a way from like,
Try
the
something
water
for me, mate. Why don't you get your whole body in? Just get in the water. If you're this sick, just get in.
Erlin's gonna like just sort of slowly submerge
Sure, you
himself
wade,
just so
you
his
sort of
head
wade
is-
out a
yeah.
little bit further so you can get deep enough and it's like relief washing over you, an immense sort of cleansing of your body that just feels like suddenly all those feelings of choking and suffocation fade away into the water.
Right, give me a minute. I'm gonna go and get my bedroll from the camp, from like where we were, and I'm gonna bring it back to the shore, and I'm gonna like lay down and plan to do the rest of my rest like with him in the water. All right, I'll watch you out here.
Are the forest spirits real?
Well, those are two different questions. I mean, yes, forest spirits are real. No, there are none here.
You're certainly not familiar with trickster thickets.
Saphira's looking around now at this point, like, genuinely to make him feel better.
I mean, you certainly don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Look, Erland, you're sick. Your brain's playing tricks. You just gotta relax until the morning, okay?
I'm dying, Saphira.
Yeah, I understand.
No, you don't fucking understand. I'm dying.
I think I do understand that, mate.
What do you think is happening to me?
I think you were a kid. I think you used extract, some form of it, and I think you're sick. You were unusual, one of the types that can be experimented on, right? Am I wrong?
Type C, yes.
So how long?
The fucking cypress tree told me I had a year left to live.
Ah, I wouldn't listen to cypress trees, mate. Can't trust them. It's not real, Erland. That was in your head. Makes sense. You're scared. Of course you think you've got less time than you do.
I thought I had 5, maybe 10 years left. Regardless of who I talk to, regardless of what I do, I thought I had maybe 5, 10 years left, and I'd like to spend those years not in a fucking prison, Saphira.
I can understand that, yeah. Sorry.
Fuck.
Well, look, you know, the way this is going, we might all have less than 5 years. So, at least if we die heroically, I mean, it'd be a fight, wouldn't it? Something to remember, I suppose. Not for us, we'd be dead, but, you know, for someone else. Sing songs about us, you know?
Bratty kids aren't supposed to be fighting battles.
Ah, you're not a bratty kid anymore, mate.
I know that.
We were all a bratty kid once.
I'm not supposed to be here, Saphira. I barely know what I'm doing.
None of us are supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be here. I didn't want to end up here. I've no fucking idea what I'm doing. The only thing I was ever good at was following orders. That's the only thing I ever knew. So I'm here now doing what? I have no fucking clue. Chasing the right thing? I don't know if it's the right thing. That's the problem, isn't it? There's always casualties in war, mate. You're never gonna make all the right choices. It doesn't happen. You're gonna fuck up, you're gonna die. You're gonna die too early, you're gonna kill someone else who didn't deserve to die. You chase the right thing, you try. And that's the best thing that you can do. And I think you're trying. I wasn't sure in the beginning, but now I think you're trying. I respect you for that. And I'm sorry you don't have enough time. None of us do. There's never enough.
I don't want to die in the woods. I don't think I want to die in Kiera either, but...
Well, where do you want to die? If you had to, which you do.
I don't know. I don't know.
I do want to die in the woods. I like it here. Try to rest, yeah?
Yeah, I'll sort of swim over a little bit and just sort of I know it's like shallow, so I'll sort of like just lay my head out of the water, sort of near Severa's sort of bed.
The bank is pretty gradual, so you can find a spot where you're like still your legs.
That's
are
what I mean, where I'm sort of like lying in the water and just sort of like lay down on the bank.
Yeah. Not the most comfortable, but honestly, the comfort of breathing is better than the comfort of a bedroll.
Of not breathing?
Not breathing.
Of dying.
As I'm sort of lying down. You're not mad at me for taking extract?
I don't think that's your fault, mate, no. I'm not mad at the people who take it, I'm mad at the people who make it. I'm mad at the people who know what it does and don't tell anyone. It's not your fault. It's not most people's fault.
I'll tell you the story one day.
I'd like to hear it one day.
Sort of.
So time passes. Erlen's sort of relaxing but not allowing himself to fully fall asleep, and it gets to the point where it's time to switch shifts. Saphira drifting off. Do you go back to the camp to wake Orba? I believe she was second shift. What is your...
Oh, probably should have taken that job. Sorry, just rolls over. Good night.
I mean, if you don't wake... If you wake Saphira instead of Orba, there's no reason why
Yeah, I can't
Saphira
walk
couldn't take
over.
the second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I would just I'm just gonna.
Yeah, and then we'll
So
just
Saphira takes the second shift. And unless there's something you wanted to do during your watch,
No.
your time passes, and now it would presumably be Orba, so...
Okay, so I'm gonna go wake up Orba.
Great. You do so a little surprised to find that it's Saphira waking you and not Erland.
Erland's not doing so well, so he's in the water. I'm sleeping down by him, and Graven's gonna fix it tomorrow. It's gonna be fine. Have a good watch. And Severa's gonna walk off trying to maintain, like,
You walk off kind of in the direction of the river, and Orba like looks around, just turn Graven here in this little clearing.
Come on, man.
Sorry.
Okay. Orba
Was
says
there
to
anything you
herself,
wanted to do during your...
not anymore.
Okay.
What?
Orba's gonna just sit and kind of get lost, I guess, in her own thoughts, and she rolled a dirty 1 for her perception check.
perceiving nothing.
She's probably gonna, like,
Scooby-Doo.
along with that whole... Was it, like, part of... I was sleeping when all of those memories were...
You were like drifting off.
Drifting
Yeah,
off?
it wasn't like deep in sleep. As you had laid down and closed your eyes, some sort of memories passing through that unfamiliar to you.
She's gonna be, like, battling all of those, like, weird memories, trying to take up real estate in her brain, and also have this note out in her hand. Just kind of thinking about things and just trying to get a hold of her own mind.
The note
there.
Erland gave you.
Yes, sorry. There's a note.
There's
Erland
a note.
gave me.
Thank you, note.
The
Oh yes, the thank you note.
thank you note. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So she's gonna get lost in that, I think.
Watch goes by, lost in your thoughts. You realize, looking kind of up at the sky, a little bit of light ever so slightly starting to peak, and you know that it's time to wake Graven.
Alright, I was gonna give Graven a little shake. Good morning.
Is everything all right?
I got the brief update from Saphira, but I don't think Erland's doing too well. He's resting what sounded like his entire body in the river. So
Did you make sure he didn't drown?
she's resting alongside him.
Mommy's right asleep.
I probably
She's
should
just
have.
like, it's fine.
And Erland's just
Dripping down the river. He's like across the river, just like boom into things. Boom.
spinning with each one.
Yeah.
I'm a Thunder Mifflin.
While you rise, Orba's gonna go and just quickly make sure that they're both there, and Erland isn't drifting away.
You work your way over to the bank.
Do that.
Okay, you're getting up.
You sort of quickly scoot over, push through that final group, and you see Saphira lying on the bank, and Erland kind of just up against his shoulders, kind of up on the side of the bank there.
Close the shrubbery. Turn back around. They're both still there. Just, I suppose when you have your full faculties, just, I don't know, fix them.
Of course, yes.
Okay,
Sleep.
thanks.
Will I be able to see you in the morning?
Oh, yeah, I was planning on it, yeah.
Okay.
You miss me?
In a way.
Okay. Alright, yeah, you should be able to see me.
Good.
Okay, good night.
I would prefer that. Good night.
Good night.
Orba curls up once more. Graven again, sort of just like Orba, kind of sitting in this rather empty clearing without Erlen and Saphir there, just keeping an eye and an ear out. Anything in particular?
As we're getting, I want to kind of go and get a little closer to where they are.
Okay, sure. You sort of
Not
just,
the whole time.
but during your watch, you kind of just look up and down the road. You don't see anything coming. You amble to the other side, get to the bank. Just you can see them again lying there.
If I wanted to get into more detail of looking around, are there any vegetation near Erland there that looks like it has any signs of rot or
Give me an
anything like
investigation check.
that? Okay.
You've just been sneezing on everything.
Just walking around.
Not that you notice. I mean, honestly, as you're seeing him kind of lying there against the bank, he looks in better health than you've seen him all day.
Right. Question. Would the vials that I have, say
Like an empty vial?
Yeah, like the Carlotta had on her body. Would a twig fit in there?
Yeah, if you broke a
Hey,
piece
we
of
want-
twig, sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
You want to keep a pet?
No. No. All right. Yeah. I'll sit and kind of concentrate on the spells that I'm preparing for the morning
Sure.
and
Working around.
I guess other than that, really try to keep that shape of that orc and half orc in my mind, just trying to keep details of the.
Yeah. You think that, it's difficult to kind of put the pieces together right now, but you now sort of knowing what that was, or at least having an idea, you feel like if you ever had one of those projections again, you'd know maybe what to focus on a little more clearly, just making sure that you catch the details that you want to catch next time instead of just what you're able to discern.
Did it feel like, kind of going back pretty far here, but did it feel like when you described how it first came upon me, it felt like I was being shown something. It didn't feel like I was getting a secret window, like I was infiltrating. It was like, look at this.
It had that sort of heat and sort of that invasive heat of whenever Kuuzni would reach out to you, but it also didn't feel like you were being intentionally shown something. Like if Kuuzni wanted to show you something, it comes through very clearly. Like the fact that this image was sort of muddled and unclear made it seem like you had caught a glimpse of something, that a window into something that maybe you wouldn't normally see. So yeah, I mean, it had a similar sensation, but again, that the fact that it wasn't like presented for you clearly sort of made it different in a way.
And I don't know, like the pride of Kuuzni might make me think that Kuuzni might be like, look at this, you little bitch. Like, you see from I will show you. But there was no words, right? There was,
Especially given that
Yeah, it had a
Like
sign
you-
above it actually that said, "Look at this, you little."
you've had a sensation where when Kuuzni wants you to do something or say something, that if you fight against it, there's that kind of like disconnect. But the fact that you weren't fighting against it and it still came through sort of unfocused and unclear, that's new and didn't feel like that usual sensation of Kuuzni working through you.
I guess other than keeping an eyes on them and thinking about the orc, do I see Orba start to materialize as the morning comes?
As it gets closer, are you switching out of Reaper form?
Yeah.
As it gets closer to that time, it doesn't happen in an instant, but it happens pretty quickly.
Imagine.
Like
Yeah.
you see the bag that's kind of, there's like an empty space in the bag, and you kind of look away for 1 second and look back, and there's already most of her has started to kind of reappear. It happens over the course of just like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So it's very, very quick. It doesn't sort of slowly happen. And the end of the end of the 2 hours comes. In the morning, early morning, you guys sort of took an earlier rest. The morning comes, and while the sort of thick canopy overhead keeps most of the direct sunlight off of the forest floor, there's these stubborn beams of light that work their way through, creating these little streaks of warmth that one can place a hand in and kind of feel the warmth, protected from the crisp, transitioning autumn air. And for those of you guys on the bank, the sun actually comes, it sort of gets over the trees and comes down very quickly all of a sudden, because you guys aren't sort of protected by the brush that there. So right by the bank, and the water kind of, the light reflecting off of the water sort of quickly washes over you in a kind of glare. And this little pocket that you've found off the road is insulated enough that the river, while close by, is very quiet to you guys. You can hear the loud kind of rushing of the water. And in fact, while it's been the dominant sound that you've been hearing as you've been traveling through the Stout Hill corridor, right now it's almost being drowned out by a chorus of chirping birds. There's a lot of kind of from tree to tree, a number of birds. And you hear the wind blowing through the brush. Little bushes kind of rocking back and forth. It's the first of many awakenings in the wilderness that are sure to come on this trip. And while there are certain things about the fine accommodations at the Upa Ale House that you miss already, most notably at this moment the smells of the kitchen wafting up to your window, you do find that your trusty bedrolls have done the trick. You feel ready for another day. You're able to recover fully. If people haven't done their long rest already, you may do so now. In addition to that, Erland, sort of, you wake a little bit, and the first thing you do is like bring a hand up to your face, and your skin has returned to the kind of elasticity that you are accustomed to. And the sort of sunken eyes have returned to their kind of normal state. So, you all rise here.
And I get all the benefits of a long rest.
You get all the benefits of a long rest. You were able to finish the long rest.
Nervous? You weren't going to give that to me.
He's alive.
Stayed in the water. You were able to breathe throughout it.
Wow, Jesus Christ, man.
As people start stirring, forgot to do the ritual detect again on him, but I will, make my way over to him and just make sure that I'm there.
Roll up your bedroll.
Yeah.
Put it to the side, and you work your way over to the bank where Severe and Erland are just getting themselves up. Erland is kind of just pulling himself up out of the water, and sort of very tentatively he takes a foot out of the water. That's the last limb. And immediately a little bit of that sensation kind of coming back. So you can tell that the blight has not sort of subsided, even though you feel better sort of from the sepsis.
Can I take a look at his arm and the...
Yep, you look at it, and it's not growing super fast, but it's definitely past the little lines that you've made there.
Let me, please.
Graven, will you do the thing?
I will, first I'm going to take a twig of something.
Sure, there's one.
Yeah, what's the plan with the stick?
Let's just see.
See what?
If I can
Do what?
infect the stick?
I'm just going to keep it in here.
Why? In case we need to disease a forest? That's not a bad idea.
I mean, I do think it's a
Are
bad
we
idea.
planning
For
on
study, for monitoring, for my curiosity.
Okay, are you going
How
to
about
stick
that?
it in him? What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to
Oh,
scrape a bit of
Okay.
that off with the twig and keep it in the vial.
alright, sure.
I hate this. I'm gonna give him my shoulder.
And I'll kind of
Sure,
carefully.
give me a dexterity check.
Ugh. Dexterity.
Trips and falls and
Just a
stabs
straight
me with this
thing.
Natural 20.
Oh,
Very careful.
my
You find a
shoulder.
nice even stick. It doesn't have like knots or anything in it that you just sort of slowly scrape, and it feels kind of like just long nails scratching against the
With
side
that
of your
roll,
arm.
Erland likes it.
And it doesn't. It kind of comes off in little flakes. It's not like goopy. It has like little flakes, and so you scrape it, and you can see a little bit of that yellow coloration on the end, and you drop it in the vial.
Stick it in there.
that's nasty.
I'm still, perhaps you should, do you want to detect to see if it, just cure it all.
Yeah, can you do
It's
this?
time.
I think you should do the curing thing and
quickly.
then see if it's
Just
still there thing.
let me concentrate, please.
Sorry.
And I'll kind of sit down next to him and make some motions. And lesser restoration.
As the magic pours into you, you watch as the discoloration just on the edges start to creep smaller and smaller until it disappears. And what's left there is it's like a sensitive reddish skin that almost looks like a sunburn, like you peeled the skin off of like a sunburn blister. So it's a little sensitive to the touch, but you can tell by looking at it, and you give it kind of a little sniff, and it doesn't have that kind of sweet decay smell. It seems to have kind of evaporated. And once again, you take 1 foot out of the water and take a full, deep breath.
Yeah, thank you. Strange.
Okay, so
Do you need to...
long sleeves.
Did you
There are lots of trees here. Why? Come on.
touch anything that you remember? Is there anything nearby that we
Yeah.
should cut
It
down?
was, look, Mr. Cypress over here.
The
I'm gonna gesture to the tree that he had shaken.
Point to the cypress tree.
Can we give it a look and see?
Give me
if
an
there's
investigation
anything?
check. You can do it with advantage. You have a second to take a look at it now.
Natural 20 again.
Natural 20. Kind of
Season 2, baby.
at the
Who is
mid
this man?
portion of the tree. There's almost like 3 finger-shaped outlines of yellow discoloration on one side, and then on the other, as if something grabbed it.
Yeah.
And you see that discoloration. On the
We've got to
tree
cut
there.
this down. We
think we
can't
should cut it
let
down
it
and burn
spread.
it.
Yes. And also, I don't want the Elatrians seeing your hand marks on a tree.
It's just
Not that they would necessarily know it's you, but you know.
Well, there's also the trudges that we were fighting. I obviously touched those.
Yeah, but those are dead, so
Right, but that doesn't
what's the
mean-
deal with that?
can't a dead tree spread the blight?
Well, presumably, I guess if they were touching another tree in a forest, maybe, but
We pushed them into the river.
It's the insects. It's contact through other means.
I mean, it
Hopefully
could
the-
have already spread, so we should
Also,
cut it
Did
down.
you see it on the trudges?
The tree
Also, really quickly, what you know about the blight, it will like stay on an object, but if that object dies, like the trudges, there's a very limited window where it could transfer
it
to
can
something. Like if the
transfer,
thing
okay.
dies, the blight will die with
Right,
it. It's
okay.
a fungal disease.
To be
so, yeah,
fair,
so-
I got the blight from a treant that is infected and presumably touching things.
No, I understand. It's probably already here. I'm just saying we don't need more fucking trouble with the Elatrians.
Sure, we can blame it on the...
I just
Burn,
we should cut
burn
the
this.
tree
I don't think there's
down.
anything we can do about the trudges.
No, there's nothing we can do about that. It's fine.
Start working on the bush with like.
I
What
will
are
help
you
him
doing? What
cut
have
down
you
the
got?
tree.
It's
What
like
you got?
this
You
thick.
got
It's not a
a-
big trunk, but it's not like you can't just pull it down
Can
on
you
the
do this
ground.
with your axe?
I don't have an axe. I have a mace and I have a hammer.
Well.
Oh my god.
I've got. Oh, no, I don't. I have a sickle, I guess.
No, you
don't. You
fucking
don't.
broke it in the...
Yeah,
I know
think
I
it's a
broke
broke-
it, but I have the blade.
Yes. Also, that I mean, nothing so far of what
The
you
mace
said. Nothing.
wouldn't-
You could start hacking at it, but that's not going to quickly cut it down.
None of the shitty ideas you have.
Oh, but you don't have anything like a sharp little hand or
I was
something.
just about to say, Orba is not present
Oh,
for any
yeah,
of
I don't
this.
think she had.
sorry.
She is actually going to attune to the sash.
Okay.
Like as soon as she woke up.
Sure.
She's gonna start
Started
trying to
tuning the
attune
sash. Sure. Use.
All right. Fine.
Is that sorry? Really quickly. Is that more than 3 items?
I lost attunement to the mask.
Okay.
Because I
Great.
left.
So this is a third. This is now you are.
This is my
You have
third.
3 attuned items. Great.
All right. If the theory is that the treant is spreading it in itself, then I suppose there is no holding it back at this point.
Is the cypress tree like partially unrooted in the by the water, or is
It's
it
right by the water, but it's just kind of leaning over. It's
Oh, so it's not the kind of thing you could like
Well,
kick and...
It's currently not partially uprooted.
The other thing that we can do is we can burn it, and try to control the burn.
It's a live tree at the moment. It's not going to burn.
I mean, it will eventually.
What if we just chip off the infected area? And
No,
burn
that doesn't work. I've not known that to work. They usually just cut down the whole tree. I mean, I suppose you could try.
It's again, like from what you know, if you got to it right away, but it's been overnight at this
Yeah.
point. That would be it probably is like it's infected at this point. Like just chipping off a little piece probably would.
We move on then.
I
It's
don't
all
know.
along
Do you
the-
think we leave hand marks with that? It's not.
Someone you're going to recognize.
I don't know.
The
I
handprints
just,
on
it
a
feels bad
bush.
to leave a diseased tree in the middle of the thicket.
You're
It
the one who
hasn't been
just said that the
affected by
treant is spreading it everywhere.
We don't have any cutting devices. Can you hit it with your hammer? That might
I
uproot
hit
it.
him a few times. You're really strong. Look, you just hit it a few times, and it comes down, then we drag it over,
It's
and
not
then
very
we burn
big.
it. It's not even...
Somebody
This is
go
gonna be
wake
a
up
big
Orba
task.
and take the hammer
Learn
out.
more about this dying tree. Than
I will give
most
this-
NPCs.
I will give this 30 seconds.
I'm walking over to Orba.
Yeah.
As you start to walk over, so are you hitting it?
Yeah.
Great, so you start to hit it. The way it's kind of tilting over into the water, it's like, as you hit it, it shakes a little bit each time, and it's not so tall, and as you're hitting it, you look up, and maybe if something was heavy enough, you could, like, pull it, down to the water and maybe uproot it. You'd need some significant weight, but as you're kind of...
I can't reach it.
You could climb.
But I'm not strong enough to,
Oh,
You could climb.
hold it
we're
myself.
even making a tree bed. Like a big bear.
Just you probably wouldn't be enough weight, but so you walk over to Orba there, who you can see right away that she's in the middle of attuning to an item.
We are just about ready to go.
Orba's gonna stay focused on the item.
I think she's...
I think. Did you walk with her, Linda? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. In the distance, you can all hear like.
Spear's gonna give it another second. Can we get help or something?
What?
There's a tree. He infected it. Need to get it down. Do you have anything cutty?
Is this gonna interrupt my attunement if I look through my bag?
You look through your bag. No. If you get up to go do something, yes. But
Sure.
but just to look through your stuff, no.
I don't think so, but hold on.
Yes. While she's looking.
One of the other ropes from my climbing kit and my friendly horse. I tie one of the ends of the
there you go.
tree, tie it to my saddle here, and
Perhaps.
I know this is just work with me, and I'm gonna like
You're saying that to the horse?
yes, the horse, yeah, and
Okay.
like get
This
it
is
to
like, these
like
people are
slowly
crazy.
like pull.
Okay.
horse just got
It starts. You ride,
I know.
and now you, after the thwacking stops, and then you hear some like digging of hooves a little bit, and you hear like.
Can you go supervise the Goliath, please?
So if you're hearing that, is gonna walk over.
It's pulling pretty good. Maybe a second horse if you tie
So we're
another.
seeing that
starts-
I'm gonna go get a second horse and start.
I'll throw
Saddle
another one
up.
of the ropes from the climbing kit.
Tie it around. The two
gonna
of
give them
you.
a kind of
Give me
pat.
animal handling checks, the both of you, with
Almost rolled an
advantage.
M&M.
Advantage.
I was like, oh.
Natural
I
10.
thought that was a double two.
Oh!
I thought it was 20.
Dirty 24.
Dirty 20.
No, it's a natural 20.
You went dirty 24 or a
24.
natural 20?
Have you played?
Wow. Hey, I'm just happy how quickly she got it.
I know. 20
A
plus
dirty
4.
20.
Okay.
You got your
so excited to do math.
11. With the two horses and the tree not being sort of a fully grown
Just like one of
cypress,
them.
the horses dig in and you sort of will them, gently pushing them a little, and finally you hear kind of a and some of the roots come up at the bottom.
Is it far enough away from other trees that it's not like whacking a bunch of trees as it goes down?
It kind of falls
my God,
like by the
it
bank there.
Infects
yeah.
the whole forest.
The horses run and they're dragging an infected tree.
Through the brush and all the bushes along the road.
It doesn't even fully uproot, but it uproots mostly, and then you stop the horses. So it's
Yeah.
kind of just bent way out of the
Yeah, can I... Wait, it's not fully uprooted.
Well, you just stopped it before it started getting pulled through the wood, so it's like almost fully kind of out of the ground.
Try to kind of just put it into the water, really.
Give me an athletics check. Are you helping him do that?
This is the dumbest thing we've ever done other than the raccoon.
I was ready to let it go.
Other than
You helping him push the
Yes,
tree
I
there?
am.
Go, do with advantage. I'll just let him help.
Athletics.
He's just rolling
Yeah,
advantage.
it's a-
Get
it's
your
a-
shitty
it's
rolls
okay.
out of here.
So with the two of you, you grab it kind of by the bottom roots there. Give it one big push.
Take all the ropes off before that.
Sure. And it starts to float down the river there. So you're able to get it out. Big hole in the ground there where the roots
Oh,
are kind of-
poor cypress.
Okay, so how
cypress
the
floats
hell
down
are we
there.
gonna burn it?
It's going down the river.
Oh
right
yeah, it's
now.
going. You just pushed it into the river.
How are we gonna burn?
Yeah.
Quick, burn that.
It'll keep the insects away from it, and it'll die, and the blight will go with it. And again, if anything, the tree ant is also spreading the blight and throwing it into
I
the
can
river as
light
well.
an arrow if you want to light it.
You're not going to be able to light the wet river log on fire right now.
I've got oil.
I have a lot of
Okay.
As you're
it's
talking,
fine.
Fire.
it's almost all the way out of
It's
sight
fine.
at
It's
this point.
Severe
Graven walks away. Graven gathers the ropes.
She
and
Severe
starts-
looks at it and kind of just.
Watch it kind of go down the river and out of sight.
While that's
Tried.
happening,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna sit next to Orba, seeing that she's attuning to something. If the fire
And
is
distract her.
5, 7, 2, 1, 1, 2, 5, 7, 2. You're
Doing
counting.
arithmetic.
Yeah.
I assume the fire's still going a little bit there. Or?
The embers, yeah, I mean, it kind of, at this point, if you guys were sort of stoking it as you were taking your watches, it's just the last sort of bits of it.
Okay.
Like, there's like sort of charred pieces of wood.
Shit. Okay, I'm going to yeah, I'm gonna take the Natural Studies Institute clothes that I took from Marvin Bishop, and I'm gonna give him like one last check just to make sure I didn't miss
Yeah,
anything.
nothing in them. They don't even have pockets. It's
Oh,
sort of
okay.
like it's sort of like
And I'm gonna try my best to kind of like get the edge on fire of it. I don't know. Is
with
it?
what's left, it won't.
Oh, there's
it won't
nothing?
light. No,
Oh, okay.
not with it. You could light a full fire, but
Only we had a tree to burn.
Only.
Only
In that
somewhere.
case,
If only somebody
Somewhere.
else with those clothes were floating down the river dead already, and it wouldn't be
If only.
weird.
hey, a naked guy. Oh, it was close. That's weird.
Okay, yeah. In that case, I'll just sort of I'll wait with Orba, just sort of holding the ropes then, while waiting for it to attune.
You guys finish up at the tree, return to this little sort of clearing here that you've made camp in, and now you can see that Orba's, or I would say Orba's like a little over halfway through her attunement at this point.
Cool.
So you guys have just kind of a moment here to have to meet.
Check the traps.
Sure, you may check the traps.
yeah, let's do that.
There was 2. You each go
Yes.
check one.
Yep.
No investigation necessary. You know where the traps are.
I wonder where we put those.
So you kind of split in 2 directions. You go check the traps. Graven goes to the first one. There was one that was kind of obscured a little bit better, and one that wasn't. Graven goes to the one that was kind of very well sort of covered with the leaves and stuff, and you carefully uncover it. Not set off at all. Nothing caught in the trap overnight. Saphira goes to the other trap. You find that it's been set off, though there's nothing inside. And what's sort of strikes you as odd about it is, to your knowledge, nobody said that they heard anything during their watch either. And these are metal traps. Like if you hit the plate, it makes kind of a
Oh, so
louder.
it was an Elatrium that set it off.
So something set it off. Either someone did a very poor job during their watch and didn't hear the trap go off, or something managed to disarm it sort of quietly, silently in the night.
And these kind of traps, like knowing what's around the woods, a small animal would probably not be able to disarm it, but would they be able to do that thing that's like a bunny that like hops into it and hops out, that like...
Unlikely.
I mean, okay.
In fact, a creature that small and a trap this sort of heavy duty, a very small creature might not even set it off at all. Like,
right, okay.
So, and give me an investigation check. and sort of look it
Mischievous
over.
air.
Yeah,
was
I'm
able to-
looking for footprints and that kind of stuff in particular.
Wow, guys. Wow.
And I don't find anything because that was a 6.
You don't discover anything out.
Cool.
Just that the trap seemed to have been disarmed.
I just have my hunch.
You certainly don't see any. The only thing you notice is you don't see any like blood or any. It doesn't seem like something stepped in it and was
And then
wounded
was
and
wounded,
walked
yeah.
away. Yeah, it's nothing. No indications of.
Okay, I'm gonna take the trap and like sort of pack it back
Yeah,
up
you sort of
into my
uproot
bag.
the little chain there that goes into the ground that you bury and pull it back.
I'll carefully disable mine
You know how to do so.
and put it back in my saddlebag.
Graven.
I'll take that one as well for the saddlebag.
Oh, sure. That was set off. Was yours?
No.
Right. I don't think
There
the
was nothing in
Elatrians... No, I could be wrong. Obviously, it's just a theory, but I don't think the Elatrians want us hunting here. I wouldn't
I
be
didn't hear anything on my watch, did you?
No, but that trap was set off. There's no blood, so something's not injured. And it was likely not a small animal or something, so I don't know. It could be impossible for them to have done it, but it could be they know where we are, they know that we're here, know that we're camping, and don't want us hunting.
It's a lot of assumptions, but
I mean, we do know
will
they're
keep an
here.
eye
We know
out
that
for-
they're keeping watch.
well, we are not on their territory, but
Well,
we are close to it.
right. Okay, well, something to be aware of. Maybe we shouldn't be setting these traps at camp just in case. We can forage, at least for the time being.
Okay.
I don't know, just in case. I don't want to start trouble with them at night.
All right. We have plenty of rations. We're certainly not in
That's
in
what I
dire
thought,
straits for
that's what
food,
I
so...
Suppose we can hunt later on.
Well, if Orba's
He's
concentrating
working on something, yeah.
Alright, well, maybe we could do a bit of hunting right now. If we've got a little while.
Sure, I'm a bit concerned.
Just go out.
Saphira's gonna look around. I want to see if I can see anything.
There's nothing here to
When we mentioned not even looking for like stuff to hunt, but I want to see when we mention hunting if I'm looking for any elatrians that could be spying.
Okay, give me an investigation check, and if Graven, are you looking for
I'm
animals?
looking for bunnies and
Okay, give
tasty
me a
treats.
survival check.
Okay.
Investigation. Dirty 20 this
Dirty
time
20.
for real.
9.
Dirty 29.
Yeah, dirty 29.
As you sort of look around, there's no indications of sort of Elatrian footsteps or anything to that effect. As you go around the perimeter of this clearing, you peek around one tree that was actually kind of close to the trap that was set off, and on the trunk of the tree are just the faintest outlines of kind of a greenish paint or pigment.
Oh, it's our friend.
Graven, as you look around, you don't see any sort of easily trappable critters. The only thing you do find is actually that berry bush that was over near the side of the river that you didn't know that earlier.
Start picking berries out.
Give me a nature check.
Oh no. Oh yeah, are they
Earlier years.
No, it's
nature?
Yeah.
still berries.
Dirty one.
They look good to you.
No. Being unsure, Graven shall not partake in them quite yet.
Okay. So
But I will gather a handful or two.
looking sort of up at the tree, I'm gonna sort of pull Graven aside and new theory. Remember our friend, our little friend who went up the trees?
Halfling, yes.
Yeah. Look, green, whatever. She had the, So maybe it was her. Friend or foe? Small and in the trees. Don't
They
like
didn't
it.
attack us in the night, but I suppose taking on 4 would not be. They weren't even interested in taking on 2 of the Elatrians.
Why would
so
she set off her traps? Is this shitty thing to do?
maybe she didn't do it on purpose.
How would you do it?
How well
Precisely.
obscured was yours? The one I saw was well obscured.
Well, mine was not well obscured.
Well,
I
and
didn't
yes,
find
maybe
a
this
good
is a
spot
message
for
to
it.
let us know that she is watching us.
Is she the Yar?
Deep cuts.
Wow.
Orba has finished up at this point, fully attuned, sort of studying the properties of your Palomar Franco purchased item.
Yeah, I got a sash now. Looks really good.
An electrifying sash that, similar to a Hellish Rebuke, can be used against sort of would-be attackers to shock them.
If somebody hurts me, look out. It's gonna get spicy.
So many finger guns.
I'll show Saphira the berries, and I wasn't familiar with these. Do you
Can
know
I
if these
take
will make us
Nature
sick?
check, yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm gonna know. 16.
16. As far as you know, they're sort of simple, they're in the plamba family, but not sort of strictly they're edible. They're not going to be terribly tasty, but they have some nutritional value to them. Wouldn't make up a whole meal, but something to
I'm gonna
nibble
kind of
on.
pick one and like taste it.
Mix them in with the
A
rations.
little bitter.
I mean, they're not great, but they're fine. Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna kill you.
Good.
Can I look around for any like mushrooms or that kind of thing? Like,
Yeah, I'm going to put that in with
around?
your investigation check. You don't see anything that's sort of accessible and edible that's sort of in the immediate vicinity.
Okay.
So we've all sort of...
Is it just me and Erland right now?
I mean, they were trekking the traps, which is very close by, but yeah, Merlin's right next to you there.
Are you doing anything?
Sadly, looking at some ropes.
No, I'm sort of just waiting for you. I had checked over his, I was checking his pockets, seeing if I could find anything. So I was not like emotionally looking for clues, but like sort of looking to see if I could find any clues to where.
Who
he
was
where
this
he's
man?
going.
Okay.
Or learn anything about the Natural Studies Institute.
I think Orba's gonna pretend to keep attuning.
Okay.
Wait, what? Trying to avoid a conversation with me?
Maybe.
A bit of time passes, just a little bit, and Saphira and Graven return
I'm
to the
gonna-
camp.
Kind of, So, does anyone else see? If you look up, is there green stuff anywhere? Remember the little halfling who came through here?
Did you find her? Did you?
No. But I think she set off one of the traps that I didn't sort of hide very well, and she seems to have gone up into the trees. I don't know if that means that she's tracking us in any capacity. I don't know why she would, but just something to be aware of. So keep your eyes up.
Any broken branches or anything like that?
You can all give me a quick perception check. Yeah.
Just a quick one.
Yeah, just real quick.
Natural 20.
All of us? Yeah. As she says that, you all kind of take a
16.
look around.
21.
17.
17. You have a moment here. You're not forced in time. Everybody takes a moment to look around, and other than the little smudge of green paint there, you see nothing. You do a very thorough check.
Natural 20s suck.
I'll say this. Obviously, she's no friend to the Elatrians, and we are 4 outsiders here. If I were her, I would be observing us to see if we are ingratiated with them or not.
We did help her. You did help her.
I just mean...
Yeah, but let's not mention that to the Elations.
No, of course not.
Eyes are probably on us until she can figure out who we stand with.
If she's listening right now, I don't like the Elatrians.
Okay. But the Elatrians could be listening right now, mate.
Hard eye roll.
We
Keep it
like
in
you
mind
guys just
as we
fine.
keep going north. Who knows? Maybe we might have a 5th for our Broken Crown outpost.
Yes, but just to be clear, we like the Elatrians just fine.
Yes, your thicket's beautiful.
Start
See any Elatrians? Do we see any Elatrians? No. I'm gonna sort of step out the rest of the fire and head over to the riverbank.
Okay.
And try and, after having checked it out, I'm gonna sort of toss it into the center of the river the best I can. The Natural Studies Institute close.
Sure.
So that it sort of carries downriver.
Yeah. You do so. It's easy. I mean, the river's flowing pretty well. It's easy to, as soon as you toss it, it starts to work its way down the river. Is everybody else kind of getting their things together, rolling up their bedrolls?
Yeah.
As I'm doing that, I want to take a moment to... I know the cypress tree has now been...
Completely uprooted.
Yeah.
Yep. There's just a hole where it once was.
Friend of yours. Take a look at this sort of berry bush and look at it and see if it... and is anyone near me right now?
No, they were packing up their horses.
If I see you looking at the berry bush, I'll be like, I already got all the berries. They're not great.
As I'm sort of... I'll just... Barry, if you'd like to tell me the source... Of course. All right. And sort of
Bye, Barry.
give it one last look.
And the wind blows, and it just kind of...
Oh, Barry.
I was about to leave and...
Got to keep moving, Ireland. Come on.
Yep.
You see Orba go to her bag, and she...
You
What in
alright?
the hell?
What's wrong?
Orba, you all right?
My bag's too full.
Did the half-elf put bricks in it or something?
No, I'm just...
Did the half-elf steal anything from us?
No, what?
Halfling?
Halfling. The halfling. Did the halfling steal anything from
No,
us?
I don't
I
think
just...
so.
I'm gonna
No.
check my bag.
Maybe she should have done
For goodness
because
sake.
because
They
I'm
all
Saphira's
haven't
gonna
watched.
try to
Did
carry the
anyone
bag.
see anything that I didn't tell me
Can
about?
everybody just take
Oh,
a
it was
breath?
fine.
I can provide explanation if everybody just is quiet for a second.
Alright.
I'm not a Reaper anymore. I'm back to just being me. So
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
I'm weak.
Well, you
Saphira's gonna. Can I try to pick up the bag?
Yes, you are capable of picking it up.
We'll share the
It's got a lot of stuff in it, but...
load.
Yeah, we can pass it off between us. I guess. I don't know.
How much?
Can we strap it to a horse?
We've already got saddlebags and
No, I just
all
mean
manner of things on the horse.
maybe we
How mu-
strap it to you, put you on the horse. You're not really carrying it. It's the horse.
It's not a, she's not a pack.
It works.
If anybody
Just-
can afford to take
You
on,
can take a second to disperse some of
Any
your
stuff.
belongings.
that would be
To those.
great.
I can take something. I've got a free saddlebag.
I could take a potion or something like that.
What
I'm
she
gonna
got?
need to give up a lot more than just like.
Okay, what
or
she
We
got?
can figure out the minutia of trading
Thank
each
you.
other's stuff.
on the break.
Yes.
Orba's like fully diagonal away from the bag, trying
Just
to move it.
those muscles feeling not quite as strong as they did.
Even places her on the horse and then the pack on the side.
Do you feel different when you're in your sort of magical form?
Yeah, super.
How
different.
much stronger are you?
Lot stronger.
Are you
Right?
No, are you
It's cool.
How do you? I don't. This is perhaps too philosophical
Yeah.
for us, but are you the same person?
I would think so.
Do you
Did I
have
seem
your
like the
own
same person?
memories?
I don't know. She's seen
Do
the
you
same
have your
to me.
own
What?
feelings? Do you feel the same? Do you remember
This is a
the
weird
things-
question, mate.
It's just she's becoming.
Do you
a
have? Hang
different
on. Now I have a
thing.
question. When you do your tree thing, do you feel like a tree?
No, that's a poison. You're
I'm
saying
sure this
she
is all
feels-
very new to her.
That's why I'm asking.
Well,
I'm curious.
you
if
said it feels good.
Yeah, I feel strong. I don't
Good, I suppose.
I don't know. I don't know the same stuff.
Yeah, I fundamentally don't change when I'm poisoned. I just look like shit.
You look like absolute
Yes,
crap.
we've been over that.
It doesn't really come with a handbook.
I'm sure she will share.
It would be great if it did, though. Come with a handbook.
Yeah, that would be
Is
super helpful.
is Cliff's mage not sort of a? Did he not walk you through the steps?
Well, did Blom walk you through the steps?
Well, I read a book.
Well, was it a
Blom-
handbook?
No.
Do you have a handbook?
No,
And she
I
doesn't have a
don't. No,
handbook?
Blom didn't walk me through. Blom did sort of walk me through the
Right,
steps.
so it's all confusing. Are we going?
Yes, we're going.
Yeah, I'll reiterate also that Celis, what he did tell you, he did, but both him and Cliff reiterated the importance of discovering things for yourself.
Yeah.
And not that, to Erlin's question, just for yourself. Aside from your magical expertise, your memory, it's not like you can't remember what Orba can remember when you're in Reaper form.
Right.
You don't lose sort of very number.
Scary.
Yeah, holy shit.
Who are these people that I'm traveling with?
Oh god, no!
With these pushy morons.
All right, everybody saddles up. You're a little over halfway through the corridor, and do people begin to ride?
Yes, and I've got my picture, and I know it's not here yet, but Saphira
not
is
even
still
in the thicket.
diligently.
Not even close.
Every plant she sees that's a flower, she's checking it against this.
Feeling a lot better, Erlen will sort of take the lead as he often
Great.
does.
You start to ride. So with
Great. Gives
Saphira keeping a very careful eye out, and with the group desperately trying to figure out who's going to carry Orba's shit, that's where we'll take a
Right, you have to take a lot of stuff!
I am at literal
Craven picks up one quill, and he's like, "I'll carry
I
this."
got this. Easy, got it.
That is where we're going to take a little break. We'll take a quick 15 and come back, and we'll pick it right back up with a little more of what the Stout Hill corridor has to offer. We're making good progress. Still haven't ventured yet into the thicket, but perhaps as we discover some of the fairest bromeliads, we may venture forth. That is where we'll come back.
Yes,
All
I'll
right.
do gifts and stuff. I'll take a look at the app and get it all together. I'm sorry. And we'll do it after the break. So thank you all so very, very,
Awesome.
very
Thank
much.
you guys so much as always. We'll see you right after the break, and we'll pick it up there. All right. See ya.
See you in a moment.
Welcome back, everybody, to Season 2, Chapter 3 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. We're going to dive back in here on the road in the Stout Hill corridor, but before we do...
Before we do, baby. All right, here we go. Seth 1690 resubscribed and then also gave 45 bits. Hopeful Optimist did 10 bits. Snapping Cobra did 20 bits. Kaisage 777 did 1500 bits. We were debating.
bits.
Crazy Locha. I'm not sure. I apologize.
Sorry for saying it.
Please let me know and I will look at it because I would love to pronounce it correctly.
Phonetic, please.
Did a total of 400 bits, then Snapping Cobra did 20, and then Crazy Low Cha / Ka also gave out 5 community subs, and then Snapping Cobra 94 just gave out a community sub as well.
Thank you guys so much. Oh my
you.
goodness. You're so generous, and we will figure out where to put all of those subs in our various pouches and saddlebags.
Oh, we
We
have
figured
no
it out
space.
during the
We
break.
figured it out.
So we didn't have to ditch anything, or did we? I don't know.
No, we
blanket
didn't.
now.
Didn't have to ditch anything.
Yeah.
And he's very upset about it.
Very
He's a
upset
big
that he had
baby
to
about
take
his
on the
blanket.
We're gonna have to cover somebody's body with that someday.
Hopefully ours.
Hopefully,
When
alive body.
we're
Alive
alive,
body.
to keep us warm.
What are we gonna do with one blanket? Just gonna alternate? Who's one?
I have one
No,
too.
we have two.
With a blanket jostling on the back of the horse tied to the saddlebags, your march up the corridor continues. It's a nice early start to maximize your daylight hours for travel. You guys went to bed fairly early. It's sort of 6, with the attunements, kind of 6:37 a.m. here in the morning, with a little bit of time spent getting yourselves ready. You keep an eye out for any of the disturbances that you've already had to contend with, the boxes and the treants, the trudges and the elves. But for a good stretch of riding, you find nothing of the sort. Erland takes the time to get used to gripping the reins with his new set of flank-foiling mitts, while the rest of the party tries to gauge how far it might be to the next bridge. And Saphira scours the west bank for any signs of vegetation that look like it could be the Ferris bromeliads, but to no avail.
I know they're not here.
You get to a point where there's a sizable gap in the trees that are growing along your side of the river. And after traveling through the dense forest, it opens up to quite a picturesque scene. The grass turns to rock, turns to pebbles, turns to sand. And the sparkling sun reflecting off the water, it looks like kind of the glass of a great crystal chandelier. It's a breathtaking view on this little inlet of water. And because the ground slopes so gradually, it's very shallow, it's relatively calm, a lovely place to soak your feet or enjoy a moment of serenity. And evidently, there's someone else who agrees. About calf deep in the water and looking out toward the thicket is a tiefling man, pale red skin, kind of golden brown pelt draped over his shoulders. He's standing in front of an easel with a couple of paintbrushes in one hand, and attached to his waist are several small jars of pigmentation. You can see him kind of dip the brushes, and then he'll work on the canvas, dip in another one. So he has this like utility belt almost of little pigmentations, and he's in very sort of deep concentration as he applies it, looking out. He'll peek out from behind the canvas, look out toward the water, hear the rushing, and he'll draw. And you can see the easel, he's doing a very sort of nice job capturing this sort of clearing opening here that looks out toward the thicket. You guys are just starting to approach, kind of riding by.
I didn't even consider that he might not be good.
Just describing he's like this picturesque
Like
thing is
finger
this fucking
painting.
stick figure.
And you notice that he's a terrible painter.
I suppose we should warn them about the treant and the boxes and such,
Oh, definitely the boxes.
just as a courtesy.
Yeah.
A bit of a different dangerous place to be painting.
And
Yeah.
maybe someone who has studied the countryside, maybe they've seen some
Bromeliads?
foliage that you're looking for.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Okay. Yeah, let's ask them.
Anybody want to approach him with me?
Oh, yeah, I'll go with you.
Saphira and Graven start to approach.
Spira's putting on her best, like,
Give me a perception check. You
I'm
are you
friendly
getting off
face.
your horse?
Yeah, because it's far enough away.
He's
that
waded out
We'd
the
have to be
water.
like, you there!
Yeah, you'd have to shout to him. if you didn't get
What
off
check
your
did I
horse.
just roll?
Perception.
Okay, great.
18.
12.
Okay. Graven sort of, as you're getting closer, you take a look at the sort of utility belt there that he has of the different, there's sort of a dark green, a dark red, sort of a dark blue, each of these jars that has the different colorations, pigmentations. And you see as he dips the brush in and brings it back out, the paint in the jars is very thick. It's not sort of a smooth kind of dip and then pull the brush out. Like when he pulls the brush, there's like a strand, like almost as if it's goopy. Ooh. Yeah, it has like a very thick sort of viscous consistency.
Might get his paint. Extract
It
paint.
clings to the brush as he pulls it out, almost like honey.
Ugh.
And you notice that there's also in the jar like solid bits that are in the jar, like floating kind of, it's not just one smooth consistency. And just before you say anything, you look a little closer and there's maybe like teeth and eyes
He's
inside.
using Mouther Dreg.
It looks like he's
Oh,
using
it's like a magic, so
Mouther
it might be a
dregs.
magical painting, we can assume.
Possibly,
maybe. Okay.
yeah. So he has mixed the dregs with clearly some kind of pigment coloration so that the colors are different. But every time he dips the brush, once again, like a string comes
Am
out.
I
and he-
noticing this too, the teeth and stuff? Or do I not
you'll have to get a little
recognize
closer.
it?
Graven's the
Okay.
first one to notice it there. You're maybe 20 feet away from him there as you guys get a little closer.
You see, as before, he could probably hear us.
Sure,
I'm
yeah,
just
the
gonna-
water's making enough noise there.
I believe he is mixed in. Do you remember the Mouther Dregs that Orba got from that Goliath on the road?
Yeah, the gross little mouth part
Yeah,
things.
they can be used, I think, in
yeah, nasty
magical. Anyway, I
Oh.
think that's mixed in with the paint. Just keep that in mind.
Okay, is it like a magical painting?
It,
Do you know of anything like this? oh, you know what? Could you make like a painting that's a portal to a place? You look at the painting, it takes you to the place. That would be great if you could do that.
Very powerful. I don't know if that's possible.
Sarah's looking at it like...
What you're talking about is a
Pops into the painting.
what you're talking about is a transportation circle, and we have seen those, but I don't think
Yeah,
you can
no,
just
but
paint
that'd
one
be
of those.
cool if it was a painting.
There's a lot more to that.
Wonder why he's
Anyway.
mixing... Anyway,
We can ask him
okay.
when we get a little
You
closer.
wait a little closer, and as you get a little closer, he's dipping the brush, and he stops for a moment. It sounds like he can hear you, because you're wading through the water, so you're making a little bit of noise
So,
there.
as he could probably hear us, I'll give a traveler.
Hi.
The thicket is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, very pretty. Your
Quite.
painting is nice.
Thank you.
Wanted to warn you, just because we were passing through. So, big treant. I'm gonna describe where the treant was, and like, you know, he was basically tossing. But you don't want to disturb him. Probably not a good idea. Don't know what's the problem, but he seems upset. Also, boxes. So if you've seen these boxes that are sort of buried around, you step on them, they explode. Not fun. Avoid those as well.
And as you look at him, he seems totally unfazed by this information. None of it seems surprising or worrying to him as you sort of look at his face.
None of this seems new to you.
The thicket is dangerous. But if you're not living in danger, are you really living at all? And he dips the brush in, and he goes to make another stroke on the canvas, but before he does, he licks it.
Do we notice any like effect to him after he licks it?
Give me a perception check.
He gets super turned on.
Okay, that's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. No affect on him that you can tell right away, but as he wipes the brush across the canvas, you can get a better look at what he's making. And again, it's a portrait of the surroundings, but the ink itself, it almost like never dries. It's like shimmering, it's like
Oh, cool.
vibrating
Okay,
almost.
very cool.
The painting, as you look at it, it like looks alive. Like it's not like moving around, but the trees that he's painted are like shimmering and shaking. So
Wow.
he's using this paint, this special Dregs paint, to make this like very visceral sort of alive painting as he's sort of putting it across.
Is that safe to be putting in your mouth, mate?
Shh, Saphira.
No, I'm just wondering.
Saphira.
I don't know. I'm not
Have you
safe.
never done something just to feel a little more alive?
It's not really my thing, actually. No.
I was going to say, my mother was a painter.
Oh.
But that is a technique that I am not familiar with.
It's very pretty. Really, quite nice.
Yes, it is expensive. I had a wizard at the University of Dilasun lecture me once. He said I was wasting the dregs. Explained to me exactly how they could be used as spell component fodder. A useful application, no doubt. But art that can enrapture you, transport you to a different place or time, evoke a viscerality within you, well, that is a kind of magic of its own, is it not?
Have you
Yeah.
had much luck selling these?
Oh, yes. They sell for quite a lot.
Oh, good for you, mate.
You can see my work hanging in the university, also in the library in Oranchupa, and sometimes in other places. The Iramapura Center for Biological Advancement. They enjoy my work as well.
Nice.
Have you ever painted the... What was the name of that?
Name of what?
The flowers.
Oh, they're called Ferris bromeliads. Have you seen them around here? Quite
The
pretty.
iron roots grow in the thicket, yes. But there is no danger to them. They do not interest me.
Ah, okay. So what you're painting now, is it dangerous?
Yes.
Right.
The
Why?
feelings that the dregs unlock in me gives me the courage to seek out new perils. I have been to Scrutiny, to the Ebwoods, to the Shocky Mountains.
No.
I do my best work when I am frightened for my life.
Ah.
And later today I will cross the river and hope to feel the Elatrians breathing down my neck as I compose my next masterpiece.
Sir,
Ah.
that does sound dangerous.
So, the Edwards. You've been there?
I have, yes.
What?
I believe that painting hangs in the halls of transmutation.
Ah. Right. So, what is it like there?
It never stops. The ground trembles beneath your feet. The Mouther Dregs, the paints, they allow me to capture that. Normal paints could never do it justice.
I can see how that might be You didn't just come from there now, from the Ebwoods. This was a long time ago you painted it.
I don't remember.
Huh.
Do you remember if you've ever been into the thicket before?
No. I have only seen it from afar. But I will go there soon.
What do you want to paint in the thicket? Do you know?
I hope to find something that is of value to the Elatrians, and I will paint as I flee from them. Dregs are ever changing, and he's sort of holding it up to the side of his face, and as he does so, it's kind of rubbing against, he's getting paint on the side of his face there. Ever adaptive. I envy them. The gibbering mouthers. They have that madness within them that drowns out the banality of the everyday. When they take a life, they absorb it completely. This is what I hope to achieve with my work. These places so virile, I want to take them and make them a part of me.
Where do you acquire your dregs, may I ask?
He looks at you for a moment. There is a Goliath. On the road, the Ackley Grove Road.
Yeah, right, we've met him.
Cabral. Ilzurdu. A talented hunter in his own right.
You say that you require focus for this. Do you find that sounds interrupt or that they aid in your process?
A sound that can drown out everything else, that is an aid to me, yes.
May I think I may have something that might help you. And I'm gonna this is gonna take a few minutes. I'll look back to them and I'll just give them like a,
You guys sort of at the shore on horseback, have kind of been watching them.
and I'll take 10 minutes and ritually cast silence around us here, right by the edge of the water.
Gosh.
Takes the time. As you're doing it, he checks in on you a couple times, but he continues to paint. And then finally, at the end of the 10 minutes, silence in the area. And Saphira as well, just that total absence of sound. I'm assuming you're casting it kind of on, centered on.
Centered on
Yes.
like us, like a rack. It's a how big is it? I think it's a 20-foot radius.
Great.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Sounds of the water lapping against the bank go away. The flowing water gone. And he closes his eyes.
closer.
He motions to the other side of his easel there. Points to like a spot
Oh,
in the
okay.
water.
Saphira's kind of.
I'll go and stand where he's motioning.
You wade in the water. You stand there, and he dips his paint in the gray paint by his side. And for a moment there, Saphira watches as he, does a portraiture of Graven, as he sort of captures the skin and the armor that he's wearing, standing there with the backdrop of sort of of Trickster's thicket. Trickster's thicket behind. How long does that last there?
That lasts for. It lasts for a while. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I mean, it takes about that long for him to finish the kind of outline of you, and finally the sound comes back, and immediately it kind of jostles him out of a sort of painting trance that he was in. He's, thank you. It's perfect. And he sort of motions for you to step back around. And you take a look, and it has the image of you. In addition to that, again, that sort of shimmering, it almost looks like you're ready to jump out of the painting. It has this kind of like forward momentum energy to it, like you're gonna sort of step out of the painting, the dregs kind of giving it just a little bit of life to it.
Is this a commission? Do you know where this might end up?
I take it to wherever I think I can fetch a price, but money does not interest me so much as long as I can afford to continue painting. Is there somewhere where you would like it to hang?
Either the far south or the far north.
If the Elatrians do not kill me, I will take it there. Puts a couple kind of finishing touches on it. The use of the dregs does not seem to surprise you. Are you familiar with this substance?
We haven't tried utilizing it, but slightly familiar, yes. Do you have any advice?
As I understand it, they can take the place of any material component. But the more powerful the spell, the higher chance that the magic will be too much for the dregs to bear, and they will be obliterated. And he describes this a little to you, enough for you to understand exactly how the dregs work. Sort of before you only had a sort of vague notion of how they worked. When casting a leveled spell, the Gibbering Mouther dregs can be used in place of any material component. It doesn't have to be one with a cost, meaning that if you don't have a holy symbol or an arcane focus, you can use it in place of a material component. The spell does consume the dregs, even if the spell wouldn't normally consume the item. So it always consumes the dregs. When you cast a spell using the dregs, you roll a 1d10 with a DC of 1 plus the spell's level. And on a failure, the spell fails. You use up the drag. So for a level 3 spell, you have to roll a 4 or higher.
Okay.
And it sort of takes the place. And there is no limit to the value of the sort of item. So if the spell asks for a diamond worth 300,000 gold, it could take the place of any material component. So I don't know how many you have, but this is the description of the.
Oh, so nasty.
And like she would know how much you would take. Like we know that like she has 2 portions.
Yes, because they came in jar. Cabral gave you 2 healthy scoops of
nasty
dregs.
Oh, nasty
Let
little
the
boy.
folks at home see.
Yeah.
How about
There's
that?
this-
Can I put it in front of the...
I think this is artwork from an old, like a second
Focus the
edition
camera.
book, if I'm not
sweet.
mistaken, like a second edition D&D, if I'm not totally mistaken.
Gross.
Yeah, here I can hold them a little closer. So
Oh, you
that
nasty.
Oh.
jar.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, nice follow. Look at that nasty follow.
Yeah, so now they're dregs.
Thank you for the nasty follow.
Thank you for the nasty follow. Oh, thank you.
So a better understanding of.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, again, it's just kind of information.
Are you giving the information to me?
I don't remember how many you had. You buy 2, 3 of those? 2 of those?
pretty sweet.
Right, so,
Thank you. May I ask your name?
Jonico. Jonico Dearden. If you see the name written in dregs, you will know it is a Dearden original.
Right.
Forgive me if I don't want my name and likeness to go together, if that's all right.
That is fine. I did not ask. However, and he kind of steps towards you. He reaches out. I am a little curious. There is a darkness inside you, isn't there? A darkness.
She was gonna kind of put her hand out, like, between them.
A darkness disguised as light.
I don't know,
He puts
mate.
his hand down.
I think there's a darkness inside all of us, don't you think?
Oh, yes. Yes, there is. Safe travels.
Nice
or
meeting
not.
you.
If you're like me and you thrive on the danger. And he takes the canvas, sort of rests it partially in the water, sort of up against his easel there, and the little bit of water that laps against it, you can see like a little bit of the dreg paint is running off into the water, kind of swirling, and he doesn't seem to mind that it's almost marring the painting a little bit. And he sort of has, in a bag by his side, he has a smaller sort of canvas that he takes out and he puts it on. He looks like he's maybe going to start a new portrait there.
Cheers, mate. Be safe, Jonico.
Yes. Continues to draw.
Walk the other way.
Work your way back to the group.
Sorry, I figured we got up early enough today that small.
Did you pause for your portrait?
I thought he might have some information for us. Some useful.
Turns out he did. Some of it was useful. I'm not convinced. Don't put those mouth dregs. Actually, rule. Do not put the mouth dregs in your mouth. He was doing it. He was
Why
weird.
would I do that?
Let's mount up.
Why did you put his arm in your mouth?
I was investigating.
Yeah, but then exactly. So don't. We don't need to investigate them.
Or we're
because
gonna
he told
take it
us
out of
this.
her bag. You think I'm gonna put this gross stuff in my mouth? Look at this.
She shakes it, there's like teeth kind of
Severe
floating in
gestures
the...
from this to the. What do you mean? He was put. All right,
They
it doesn't
didn't
matter.
see.
Doesn't
There's
matter.
an eyeball right there.
Orba,
What?
that man is both painting with and consuming mouther dregs.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
Let's mount up
eating it.
and keep moving.
Who is he?
I'm saying some people do eat it, so I don't know. You ate something weird.
Very eccentric artist.
Did you get his name?
Said something very rude to you at the end.
Dresden.
Jonico.
Jonico. What did I just say?
Dearden, Jonico Dearden.
Dearden. Jonico Dearden.
Apparently there's a darkness engraven thus, disguising itself as light, which is frankly rude. It's a rude thing to say.
Is it?
He doesn't know him.
Darkness and light can be
I don't know.
perceived as...
I think whatever he's seeing might be being influenced by the dregs. So,
Did he know about the plants that we need to find?
yes, he did. He called them iron roots.
Did he tell us where they were?
I mean, he told us, exactly the same thing that we've been told. We know the general area where they are.
All right.
I mean, I can ask him more specifically. We can go back and distract him again, but I don't.
distract him. I think we engaged with him quite fully, but...
Got a good picture though. It's quite nice. Graven, he looks good. Scary.
Honestly,
Ready to jump.
Honestly, the paintings were quite...
Oh, they're spectacular. He's insane, but the paintings are wonderful.
Do I know the name?
No.
The dregs actually add this quality that makes it almost like a living painting. Like a
Yeah, it
breathing
looks like it
painting.
could come at you. It's quite cool.
It's very...
But it's not like magical in any way.
as magical as mouther dregs, I suppose.
It wasn't for the purpose of like a magical.
No, it's in true artist form. It's for the purpose of fulfilling his art.
Saphira rolling her eyes out of her.
Saphira heard him talk about it. Oh my gosh.
The mouther dregs, I think I have a bit more of an idea of how they can be used to cast spells.
Right
Okay.
useful, turns out. Right useful.
In like a valuable way, like.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
very
could
valuable.
be, very
Absolutely could be.
valuable.
Potentially, sure.
The more intense the spell, the more chances it has to fail, but it could be used as anything.
What?
Yes, any component of any price.
That's huge.
I know.
And I only spent 80 gold to get
Yeah, it's
two.
not bad. I'm thinking we should get more if we come across any, gibbering mouthers. Whatever, that would be
Very useful.
Those
brilliant, honestly.
disgusting jars are worth an...
Hey, don't knock it till you try it, apparently.
There are magics that I have had in the past and have access to now again, I believe, some of them, that, yes, you could need rubies, diamonds worth hundreds of gold, and this could take the place of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
For
that's
something as
some
in-
valuable goo, then. Let's not lose that goo. Hey, you never know. And Spurs kind of got the little vial of smelly, like, goo from the body from the...
Is that Niels Bargis's sister's
Listen,
gooey head?
if the gibbering mouthers are worth something, I don't see why it couldn't be useful for something. I'm keeping it in my bag.
You show it to Jonico, and he's like,
All right, well, I believe it is time that we press on, yes?
The river should
Yes.
be forking relatively soon.
He
I
did
think.
mention
Okay.
that the Elatrians were going to be on his tail when he moved forward, and it did remind me we do need to be extra careful. So
Maybe, if that lines up with when we try to enter the forest, maybe the Leolatrians will have their hands
I
full
had
with
that
an
thought
insane
as well.
artist.
I had that thought too.
Wait, he's entering the thicket?
Yeah, well, he has this goal of trying to get in there and paint something valuable to them so that they can try to kill him while he's painting it, so he feels alive.
I think it's more...
Kills the banality of existence, you know?
Did you tell him that he's probably going to die?
He knows.
That's the point, I
That's
think.
the whole point. That's part of the art, right?
You don't think that this is a side effect of...
Oh, it absolutely seems like it could be a son. What am I going to do? Tell him to stop doing drugs? I'm not his mum. I don't know. He seems to have already be halfway gone. Should I... Is it my responsibility? What do you mean?
No.
We are already riding past him. He is gone.
Erlen will.
you guys start there. You guys continue on?
Sure.
Yeah.
Unless there was something you'd like to say.
Boss?
After resuming your ride, you travel for another couple of hours. You realize that it was so far back in the Stout Hill corridor that you last saw one of those booby-trapped boxes
Shit, goddamn.
that you've almost accepted that you've left the area where those hunters
no.
seem to be doling them
We
out.
have not.
How much ground, after all, would they really cover? Would they bother to cover, just for this nasty little bit of revenge against the Elatrian elves? But sure enough, well past the midway point on your way to the Broken Crown station, you spot another one. Evidently, the vendetta runs deep, and you find yourself wishing that they had hinted at what caused such a rift, if for no other reason than to avoid getting caught up in their quarrel. The box has the same appearance. It's half buried, just like its predecessors. But there's something a little more worrisome about where this one has been deposited. On purpose or by coincidence, you're not sure. But in about a 20-foot radius, there's a patch of dying trees. Dried, brittle bark, sagging branches, cracked trunks, and mostly, if not completely, void of leaves. Yellowish discoloration running up near the roots points immediately to the culprit. The wilting blight has found its way here, and it's carved out a little section of trees that are all withering away. In addition to the obvious concerns regarding Erlen's run-in with the blight from before, it looks to you that the box, that occurs to you, that if it's anything like the previous devices, it's in a particularly precarious spot. If an explosion of fire erupted here, it could easily ignite these very, very brittle, dry husks that are surrounding it, kind of starting a very dangerous, rapidly expanding forest fire. So you see that box? It's not right in the center of this area. Again, it's hard to tell if they saw the dry trees and planted it there, or if they had already planted there and then the trees died. Difficult to tell, but you see the box buried in the dirt there.
Fuck's sake, it's a fucking tinderbox. What are we gonna do? How we set off this one? If we explode it, then the whole fucking forest goes up.
We could write a sign. We could say,
Write
this
a sign.
is going to explode, so don't open it.
What if a
takes is
deer
an
jumps
animal.
into it?
Yes.
That's,
But
I had.
it's not... the last one only
What
triggered
if a
when
deer
you...
smells it and licks it and opens it by
Rotten
accident?
luck on that deer's part.
Or puts their
Yeah.
foot through it.
Is there?
Honestly-
Can we douse it with water or something? Can we do something to disarm it that
That
way?
won't-
I mean,
no.
it's a spell, right?
Yes.
Oh, fuck's sake.
I have no way
Honestly-
to dispel this.
Well, I
There is-
can't go anywhere near that.
No.
As you guys are talking, give me perception checks, everybody.
Shit, man.
God.
Oh, I'm
damn
back
it.
to having my...
Oh my god, dude.
Well,
3.
22.
5.
God, I can't keep track of all my stats.
Yeah,
19.
thank you.
19. So you guys have kind of turned into a little, not a circle, but all kind of facing in toward each other to talk. And Graven and Orba are kind of looking in the direction of where the box is generally. And poking out from behind one of those dead trees, a little creature just
Oh my god.
hops.
No.
And it's not on the
don't
box,
see that.
but you look and see, and it looks like a little rabbit with a horn, one of those almirages that you
far
saw
away?
evidence
How
before.
far away is it?
You guys are 30 feet away.
Can I cast a sacred flame at the animal?
Sure. Does that have to target a creature?
Yeah.
You would have to target the beast, like the rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to kill it before it
Is that
touches
gonna
the box.
light it on fire?
No,
No,
it's not.
radiant.
It's
Oh, it's
radiant.
radiant.
Yeah.
Imagine, just lights the whole forest on fire. Anyway.
What kind of save is this?
It is a actually. Would I know whether these things would be better? Are they more dexterous or more wise?
Give me a nature check.
Okay, this is all happening very
Oh, those
quickly.
wise
I
rabbits.
think it's gonna be dexterous.
Nature 6.
6. You don't recall
All right.
specifically.
I'm actually going to use a Toll the Dead, so a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So wisdom saving.
probably
throw.
worse,
Great.
guys.
So
That's
as you
a
guys
good-
are sort of
that's a
huddled
good
around chatting, you see Graven sort of see something in the distance and immediately point at it.
Pulls out his nunchuck.
Yeah.
And you hear the sound of the clong. Oof, 18.
It's saved.
And the creature just jostles as if it heard a noise, and then it kind of looks around really quickly.
I'm gonna take a ration out of my bag, a single. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna break off like a meal's worth.
Sure.
And toss it on the ground, sort of halfway between us.
Okay, give me.
or actually, let's go like away from the box. So,
Okay,
like, sort
give
of down the
me
road.
give me just a dexterity check as you try to aim the.
It's just the fucking raccoon again.
Straight dexterity,
Yep.
21.
21. You do a nice little toss that's away from the box a little bit, but still within its sight, and it sort of jostles at the movement of the ration, but then it looks back toward the box.
I'm going to try again if it's been a couple of seconds.
It has been. Sure. Same thing.
Same thing.
So a wisdom saving
Wisdom
throw.
save.
Pick up my fucking ration.
That's a 15.
It saves.
Again, and it just kind of it's startled, and you see its teeth kind of. It's biting like the latch there, but you see it for a moment, and you're not sure if it's strong enough to open the latch. Like it,
Are we within range of what?
you're within
God.
30
We're in
feet of it.
30
If you're
feet.
kinda-
30 feet?
Yeah.
Can I kind of gesture
shoot it or
like,
shoot it.
Or was casting Ray of Frost.
No!
Okay. Oh, is that an attack
I
roll?
was just
Yes.
gonna try to talk to it.
No, kill it. We can eat it.
Erlin's taking steps back.
I'm not worried about not killing it. I'm worried about
wait, what's my
staring
new
it
to hit?
into the box.
It's
to
already
see-
it's
Oh, yeah.
gnawing on the
Like a
box.
23 to hit.
23 that hits. Roll for damage.
Okay.
Erlin's taking 10 feet. 10. How far did it explode last time?
have a sense?
Yeah, like a. Actually, I can get. Yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah, I'm
you
gonna
were
do
right
the same
there.
thing.
Step back
I
if
was
you can.
lying.
What was casting?
20-foot radius, so
Okay,
you're
so
already
we're
out
safe.
of range.
I think
with
you
it
got
there.
over that, right?
What?
13 damage.
13 damage. It's sort of gnawing on it, and it.
Steve. And everything's fine? It's fine right now? Okay.
Fuck, see that's exactly the problem.
Little
I
sort of
understand.
almirage corpse there on the
I'm
ground.
gonna go down the path, pick
Let's
up
go.
my ration.
See what might have been attracting it to it. Why that
I'm gonna
Almirage
pick
was
up
more interested in the
the
box
little
than the
rabbit
food.
because we're gonna eat it later. So
Okay.
I wanna
Careful
You're
as you
getting
get
up
close
close
to it.
to it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shit, you're going right
Just
up
very
to it.
Yeah.
slowly go up to it.
I want to slowly go up to it and pull the rabbit away so that
Both
I'm
of you
not
give me
touching
stealth
the box.
checks. Yeah.
I think Orba's gonna start ritually casting Jesus magic.
Fucking
Okay.
Christ.
6.
I just want to let everyone know my modifier is +6, 8.
You guys are moving through, and because all the vegetation here is dead and dying, it's making quite a bit of noise. The branches these fallen branches are dried and shriveled, and they snap as you move forward.
Yeah.
But you're not touching the box yet. You get up there, you're within reach of the creature
Okay, I'm
and
gonna
close to the
pull
box.
the creature
You're making quite a bit of
carefully away.
noise, but
I'm looking around.
Is there anything on or near the box that looks like what it might have been attracted to?
give me an investigation check.
12.
12. The only thing is, and you kind of noticed this the last time you investigate the box, is like right where the seam of the lid is, there's a little bit of light, and it's like just ever so faint. It's a little brighter here, and it seems like that might have just been fascinating the creature, the little bit of light that was sort of blinking through the
All right,
box
step
there.
step back again.
Yep.
I'll get like 60 feet away.
Yeah, sure, you do so. So
Honestly,
you have the Almirage, body.
the sign. how much of this is really our problem?
I mean, I don't know.
I do not want to take another brunt of a blast.
The reason that I think it might be useful for us to try to fix this is because we're definitely going to encounter them. They're definitely going to have questions for us. We definitely are trying to take something. And it might be a good bargaining... I know, but it might be a good bargaining point for us to say, hey, we saw something that was trying to explode and burn up your forest and we protected a good portion of it. It's not a bad bargaining chip.
Without the ability to dispel the magic, we are...
That's
either
true.
trying to move this and exploding ourselves, or we are exploding it and then trying to put out a massive fire.
Can I keep
I
an eye on
guess.
the
I
box
don't
while we're
like
talking?
either of those.
I don't like either of those either, so we're sure there's no way to disarm it.
There is, but not in our... I cannot do it.
What if we just pick it up and move it?
Well,
As you
but
guys are
that's the
talking,
danger
finish
of
ritually
exploding.
casting detect magic. You're detecting magic from the box. And unsurprisingly to you, it's abjuration magic, which is consistent with sort of a glyph explosion that you saw before.
You wanted to be as simple as tying a rope to it and it exploded.
Right, well that was because I was mussing
Your
with the...
finger slipped.
Yes, what if you pick it up from behind so
It is
doesn't...
buried in the
but-
ground.
but
You
you
want
understand-
Unbury it.
And unbury it while not disturbing the explosion rune.
We just saw a rabbit try and open it. It's going to explode at some point.
Yeah, I agree, mate, but
I
the point
don't
is whether
think
or not we're in the vicinity when
any
it
of us
does.
should touch it.
So then why don't we just throw a rock at it so it explodes?
Again,
Well, then
that
how do
means
we
that we
put
are
out
putting
the
out a
fire?
massive fire. This is all going to catch fire immediately.
Do we think I could levitate it?
Oh.
It's buried. It's...
Wait, no, that's a good idea. Because then
excellent
if
idea.
it does explode in the air,
How do you
it's
know,
less likely to...
How do you know you're not just going to levitate the top of the box and open it? If
Well,
it's stuck
she
in the
doesn't
ground?
just levitate my head and pull it off of my body when she levitates me.
I'll remind you of the verbiage, which I think is also on here, is a creature or loose object. Yeah. So yes, but you need to get it loose a little bit. Like you could definitely do that, but not in its current, like, in the ground state.
And would I know if I were to lift it, would it have the sensitivity of like it lifts it by the entire object,
Yes.
not by a specific part of it. So if I
It's
lift the
not
whole
like
thing, it's not gonna
the
lift
difference is
lid.
a good comparison is like if you used mage hand, that would be like a hand
Grabbing
was
it.
grabbing it, but levitate just lifts it straight
How
up.
long is your tusk?
Not long enough.
No, but if you do that, mate, then it's gonna explode.
Why don't we carefully? How deep is it buried?
Like halfway.
What if we just loosen it from the earth a little bit?
So dig around it,
Yes.
Right.
Enough that I can cast levitate.
and try to get it as high in the air.
We can explode it in the river.
Problem is not
Yeah.
after it is loosened from the earth. The problem is loosening it from the earth.
Well,
anything
yeah.
we try to do to this, we are in
Do you
very...
want... I can ask an animal to try to dig around it.
Oh.
I think.
That would be worse.
You think?
Okay.
Yes.
I hear your concern
us?
about it, but Erlen did throw a rock at the first one, and it didn't seem to set off anything. Like,
It's
harsh
true, it seemed to
movements-
have been needing to be opened
Yes,
or...
it only opened because my finger slipped and opened it.
in the process of messing
Just
with
don't
the
go
Less
near the
likely when we're
latch.
digging.
Just go around the back end of it.
If anything,
Who has something that can be used as a digging tool, a dagger or something?
I've got a dagger.
Here, in fact, use my quarterstaff. I'm gonna go over to my horse and I'll give him my old quarterstaff that you wanted me to get rid of.
my God.
Use my quarterstaff and sort of dig around a little bit. I'd go over there myself.
Get back.
but-
Everyone's
get
like,
back.
go Graven.
Get...
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Take steps.
deal with it.
What if I go with you and I hold down? I just put all of my weight on the top of the box and keep it.
No!
Maybe not all of your weight, but okay, try to just keep,
Keep it placed.
closed.
I don't know if she should... No, that's a bad
If she
idea.
shouldn't, why should I?
Well, no,
Don't touch the
I'm
top of
saying
the
no one
box.
should be touching the top of the box. I think you should only go around the box. I think
No,
the top
that-
of the box is the dangerous part
Yes,
of the
but what
box.
I'm saying is why
Marching
am I
over to it.
Snapping
Just
twigs.
be careful. Don't put your hand through the box, Orba.
60 feet back,
Wait.
and no more advice.
Okay.
She's gonna
Careful.
She's gonna stand on the back side of it, like where the latch opens, even though she saw that didn't make a ton of difference. And she's just gonna like place her hands.
Do I see any Redeeming elves in the
Give me a
treasures
perception check.
And first, very carefully, just kind of feeling the dirt around the edges, where it's looser, where it's tighter.
My comfort roll is better. 7.
7. Yeah, not that you notice. You do notice that the sort of constant snapping of twigs and branches that's making a little bit of noise. You not like approaching you, but in a curious sense. Like you see like a little deer head peek out at one point, and then maybe another almirage kind of pokes its head out and then scampers away. Like they're hearing.
Sort of start hissing at them a little bit.
I mean, now they've reached. I mean, there's no more noise once they've reached the box there. So you're using the staff to kind of.
Well, maybe first just kind of loosening it with my hands a little
massage.
finer points, and then deeper with
You
the...
loosen the dirt. Your face is like right there as you're doing that.
Yep.
You see the glowing like between the little
muttering curses to everybody else in the party.
Slightly out. Give me a dexterity check. Just a straight
Dexterity, straight dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
5.
As you dig the front out, you just loosen the dirt a little bit. It looks like they dug slightly too big a hole and then placed it on top so that when you move some of the dirt, it goes and like falls down
lower.
in a little bit.
Careful.
And it goes, because you have your hands on
Orbits,
top,
yeah.
it just kind of like, and it jingles a little bit.
That didn't look good, whatever you just did.
Quiet.
Okay.
Nothing else happens.
Now I'm worried that the bottom of the box, doesn't matter what you do with the top, the bottom is going to fall away from the top.
It does have a latch on it. You've
The
seen
latch
it be
is-
pretty loose though, because
Yeah.
Erland obviously tipped it and set it
And the
off.
latch, it's one of those ones where there's a flap and then there's like a little hook where like a lock could go.
Yes, it's not locked, but it has a latch
Graven.
over
Is
it.
there
yes.
any like breaks or things that look a little loose in the latch or the wood, any cracks?
No,
it looks pretty
because
solid.
you feel like you would be able to tell because the light would be kind of shining through any cracks and stuff, so you don't see anything like
And
that.
the I mean, even if I just whip up a mending even if I don't see anything particular, but like holding onto the latch and just like putting some mending energy into it to like.
Sure, you try to see, you sort of feel out whether there isn't. Your magic energy doesn't catch on anything, so there's no like break that you would be able to mend using that spell. The box seems in relatively good condition, if not slightly loose.
Are you ready to keep going?
Yes, I was going to suggest if you don't have manacles, perhaps, let me know if this is wrong. I have some chalk. Maybe I can get chalk in that little hooky part to get the latch to not go up at all. Something to just secure it tighter.
Like a place where there would be a lock.
Yeah, like a little hooky.
So it has like a little flat part and then like a little knot that sticks out, and you could put
Okay.
a lock in there,
Okay.
but there isn't one.
Yeah,
Obviously.
do we have any, even a short piece of rope or chalk? Seems very breakable.
Let's go chalk. I don't.
What?
Not that good.
What do I have?
I mean, yeah, I've got
Titanium
rope.
chalk.
The rope might be too thick. It's pretty
Okay.
small.
God,
How wide
I'm
is
gonna
the
take
mutant
out.
whistle?
I'm gonna take out.
Way too wide. The latch is not that big.
Let me know if this works. I'm gonna take out the hanky that Holland gave me.
Okay.
And is it
have an
kind
iron
of
roof.
fine enough that I could kind of twist it up, small enough to kind of loop through
Yes.
and tie a knot and
Nice.
tie that off?
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh, why are you going near the fucking
Can I help him in any way?
Just avoid it.
It's too.
Avoid the
too-
box that I'm digging out.
that I don't do what I did, which
Yeah, avoid the box.
latch.
Sleight of hand, you say?
touch the. You're gonna do the same thing I did.
19. Quiet, everybody.
Suck it.
And in the moment, thinking back to Holland,
Oh my god.
you take the handkerchief.
My sweet boy.
You thread the handkerchief, and it's for especially coming from a guy who didn't come from wealth. It's a pretty fine kind of handkerchief, a fine silk
taking that
handkerchief,
out.
and you thread it through, and you're able to pull it through, and then loop it around, and you just tie it closed there.
All right. I feel a little more comfortable about digging again.
Yes, good job. That's good. It's a nice handkerchief, by the way.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to actually just my hands, not the staff.
Right,
I'm
you
gonna
dig around.
throw the staff over my back behind me.
Well, you dig out a little bit more. Again, a couple times it just kind of like shifts a little bit because the hole is not exactly the right size. But you get all the way around it, and you give it just a little sort of wiggle, and it seems like it's loose
pull it
from
out.
the dirt there.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna slowly try to lift it out.
The trunk?
Yes, and we can either bring it to the middle of the road or
Oh,
put it back down.
I'll be able to, like, scoot it.
Why don't I just loosen it a little bit more from the dirt?
Okay.
and I'll just try to bring it up a little bit.
Right? You just get your finger. It's loose enough, and it doesn't have a lot of heft to it. It's empty as far as you can tell from the other one, so you kind of pick it up a little bit.
Just so that it's shut. Just so it's kind of above the level of the dirt.
Okay, you're holding it. You now have it in your hands,
Okay,
holding
and
it above.
maybe even just rotate it and like put it back so that it's resting cleanly on top.
That is not what we told them to do.
Sitting there on the top of the dirt.
All right.
No
Now
one died there.
the question is,
Uh-huh.
do we throw it? Do we throw it in the river? Do you want to spend the energy to levitate it?
Is the river pretty clear of like foliage? Is it still gonna damage some stuff?
If there was an explosion in the river,
Yeah.
if you hucked it out there, I mean, again, if it was underwater, it would kind of make a little bubble. It depends on where it ends up.
Kill some fish, but
Might
It's empty, it might float. But
I wouldn't mind, withholding my energy, but if we toss it into the river, what is the logistic of getting it to go boom? Do I need to use Mage Hand and try to open it?
How far away can you be with Mage Hand?
About 30 feet or so.
That's not good enough.
I levitate it. I can levitate
sure?
it. Yeah, I can levitate it. I
It
mean,
levitated more than 60, 100 feet.
about that, yeah.
I guess the other part of that is that now we will have a literal beacon above us.
Kind of like a big firework.
Would the fire rain down? Yes. We should do it over the water.
We can do it over the water, yeah.
I'd
just
like-
embers raining down.
Ah.
Yeah, what is
that
that?
means, that means that we have to move it again anyway.
Okay.
I have to pick it up and move it.
Sure.
All right. Over so. We have to move it out closer to the water.
What?
What are you guys doing?
Where should we go?
I thought we were doing
Just
the levitation
keep
thing.
Standing
Stay
away from the water.
Back.
Why are you? Can I help with
Very
this
carefully.
instead of Orba?
lift it up. You're standing there holding it.
I'm gonna kind of slowly watching my feet towards the
I mean, as
bank.
you're walking, it's it's impossible to not shake a little bit.
Yeah.
But it seems like the tied handkerchief is keeping the latch in
Okay.
place.
Yeah. Watching my footsteps, watching the box, going
Okay.
kind of to the bank.
You start to walk in that direction, and you get maybe you get about. I'll tell you. Make sure I have the right thing on here. Yeah, you get just halfway between where you were there in the ground and to Erlin and Saphira, and then the box kind of vibrates a little bit, and then the light inside.
Orba,
Do I still have Detect Magica?
Yes,
what happened?
the magic goes away.
It's gone.
And
guys
you
all right?
recall, perhaps not from before, but now that if a glyph of warding is cast, if the object it was cast moves more than a certain distance from where it was cast, it...
Oh, I feel so stupid, Graven. I forgot.
What?
When you... I recall reading that with these wards, when you move the object, it...
I think that's a cleric spell as
Dissipates.
well, so you sort of have that notion in your mind as well.
You seem much more
Sounds
relaxed
familiar.
now.
What's
Can you stop
happening?
narrating every step that we take for 2 seconds, please?
You're holding
gonna-
an exploding box.
It's not exploding anymore.
I'm gonna
Okay.
take just a few more steps, set it down, take the handkerchief back off.
Oh, Graven.
No.
How many times? Quiet.
My goodness.
Take the handkerchief off.
You slip it out from...
And I'm relatively confident that if I open this, nothing will happen.
Yes.
I'm gonna
What
I'm
are you
gonna
doing?
stand there.
What do you...
Flick Erlin's diving. Erlin's diving.
Erlin dives... Erlin and Saphira both dive off their horses to the other
I
side.
flick it open and I throw it towards them.
The fuck are you doing?
Hold on,
Why are you laughing? How'd you fucking know it wasn't gonna explode?
you could have killed
You're
both of
right,
us.
Rex, both of you.
You could have killed both of us.
You're so stupid. Look at the grin on his face. I've never seen him grin like that. Look at his stupid face.
The magic
oh, you're
users-
right, Chuck.
The magic wielders have done as you asked.
You knew about this before when the
No.
oven exploded me.
No.
So you just had a revelation picking up the fucking box.
I didn't know that it was going to be dissipated when I walked far enough away, but that is what happened. So you're welcome.
Well, Saphira's gonna mount
Less
back.
narration from now on.
And
Give
the
me my
empty box sort of
quarterstaff.
sitting there on the ground, open, like,
Yeah.
you know, on its side. It's just, you can see the contents. It's completely empty. On the
So,
inside.
literally, because there's not a glowing glyph anymore, there's not like a reactivating of that without casting that
No,
spell
you would
again.
literally have to cast the spell
Okay.
again. Yep.
All right. We have another box, but that's at 3. That's a medium size.
Yeah, it's
object,
like
right?
decent sized. I mean, it's like a
Now,
little
if you
chest.
put 3 things in the medium box,
3 ones in the 3.
Slots take into account weight and size.
Okay.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of
Putting the
Thieves.
things inside
I'll
the
just
box.
put the skulls in the box.
All right.
Can you pass me
See
my
if
quarterstaff
the
so I don't get infected with blight again?
It's back there.
Please don't
I know,
touch
I
any of the
can't pick
fucking
it up.
trees.
Orban's gonna go pick it up. She's actually gonna look at it. Can, like, dead wood, like, get it?
I mean, you don't know that, but from what you've heard, it's a living tree disease.
Do you...
Yeah, why do you have to have a wood staff?
Yeah, can someone else
You
hold on
can't
to
have
this?
something metal. I
does it-
got it. I take
Okay.
it.
3 slots.
That's 3 slots.
Saphira kind of takes it and looks like.
I imagine nobody can afford to carry this box around, you know? No?
No.
No.
I'm gonna, like, smash it with my foot.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Okay.
For the force of
Just
it.
like with an unarmed.
Yeah, with advantage, just an unarmed.
With advantage?
Yeah, it's
Ooh,
a
thank you.
stationary box.
It's a stage.
Oh, 2 4s, 9.
I mean, you hit it, but it has like these iron bands over the top of it, so you make a dent in it, but it doesn't like obliterate the box. You make a like solid dent.
Can I open it and put it upside down so that if I would do it, maybe the top would just come
Sure.
off?
Sure, give me another advantage attack roll.
I don't want 16.
And it breaks in half there at the hinge.
Just so nobody thinks it's still active, and I'll just
My staff.
honestly put it closer to back where it was.
Okay, you toss one
Spirit
piece in one
gives it a
direction,
look.
kind of one in a little.
Actually, I'll go back and pick up one of them. The note idea. Shall we maybe carve into this deactivated by,
Oh.
in case the Elatrians find it?
Yes.
And then
Deactivated by your friends. Describe us.
I
Draw a little
think that's-
portrait of everyone
that's the intention.
smiling.
Chuck it.
All right, go ahead.
my staff, please.
Deactivated by...
Saphira's gonna look as he takes the staff to see if there's any change in Erland.
Not that you can do.
Should we
Fellow
Okay.
caretakers of Trickster's
Did
Thicket.
you have to have this?
some sort of shorter
Inside is
yeah,
that big.
perhaps a shorter nickname.
What about, like, Long Live Lanthu Ripu?
Oh, what's that mean?
That's the name of Trix's thicket.
Oh.
All right.
Well, that seems okay.
Dash, Goliath, Tiefling, Half-Elves.
Very good.
Great. Your friends.
Stick it up in the. Stick it somewhere so that it can.
Good.
You wrote that in the box, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in chalk.
Right. So you put the box.
The box kind of back near where it was.
Did my sound effect on
It sounded
Yeah,
like sticking
like
a
a sticking
post.
a stick, yeah, like a-
Oh, work on it.
Yeah, for next week we want a good box.
Let's keep enough distractions.
Gets back on the horse. Sorry.
At least we know.
Heart's racing a little bit after the sort of possibility of the
Fix sort of my
explosion.
dingus.
Ponytail a little bit.
And you guys continue to ride now past the box that you've identified. As you keep your pace heading up north, finally, the path begins to widen a little bit. You seem to have gotten through the densest part of the corridor, at least on this side of the river. And you notice one other thing that bears a sign of progress. The free-run river appears to be bending, ever so slightly, to the
Here
east.
we go.
It's not the full kind of dogleg to the right that would signal an approach to that final bridge that would take you to the northern Stout Hills and the Broken Crown station. But it's an indication that the curtain's going to start to taper off, and indeed the sloping terrain seems kind of more and more gradual as you continue to ride. More importantly, however, if Niels was right, you are now entering into possible Ironroot territory. The collection of which could be the first step toward Erland making contact with his former professor. A man who'd made a mess of things and then disappeared. A man who might understand better than anyone what Erland and other afflicted individuals across the continent might be going through. The lessened brush has given you a clearer vantage point to see to the other bank, and there's quite a few flowering plants there. The river isn't as wide, but it if you need to identify like individual species of plants, you might have to get over there or use a spyglass or something. There's like a lot of vegetation. It's hard to pick out one thing in particular. To your advantage is the fact that this stretch of water looks pretty swimmable. It's not as deep, the current's not quite as strong, but already as a place with obviously bountiful resources, you see movement between the trees in the thicket. Some bipedal humanoid just catching sight of things moving in the woods on the other side. Presence of elves, perhaps, or even something else. Maybe. So you start to see, again, lots of vegetation now. You're in the right area. You just might need some kind of assistance in identifying.
Saphira's gonna kind of hold up her hand and... We are definitely being watched. We're not alone here, obviously, so...
We need 10 of these fucking things?
Yeah. I don't know how we're gonna get them, but yeah.
Spyglass, perhaps?
Yeah, do you have one?
Yeah, take it out.
Can I have it? You know.
Give me a perception check with advantage. You have the spyglass.
Okay, 15.
You do a scan along the bank there, slowly. So you stop the horse. Yeah, you have the thing that reference back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
Very carefully looking at each spot along any sort of areas where there's flowering or rooted plants that kind of stick up. And at first you get a little excited because you see what looks like might be on the thing, but then you remember back to Niels' words about has to be stems above ground, at least a foot or more, starting to show budding at the tips. So you see what might be sort of young, young plants. So you keep moving along the edge.
Do I see, this is weird, this is deep plant cut. Do I see how they're propagating themselves at all? Do I like see like a runner that kind of goes off a mother plant to another plant? Or is it like
there's
seeding
too
itself?
much brush there at the base to see that
Shut
at
up.
the moment. With a
okay.
closer with an up close examination, you might be able to tell that. But you keep kind of moving along the line of the younger plants, and then finally, you see one that looks like it might be
Ready?
over a foot above ground.
Oh,
there
she's
with the
ready.
steps. Ready for the pluck.
Oh no. Alright, so
And as you're sort of looking through the spyglass at that one, you see a little bit of movement. You move the spyglass up, and it looks like there's elves moving through the trees. They're not quite up at the bank, but definitely in the vicinity.
okay. So I see two things, and one of them is the thing that we want to see. The Ferrous Bromeliad. Another thing, a harvestable one too, which is good. Also, elves, not as good. So, how are we gonna do this? I thought the best bet might actually be to get something else to do it for us, like, you know, animal or something. I know it's a bit crazy, but that way at least we have some plausible deniability.
Is an animal going to be able to extract a flower?
I'm looking
bitey
around.
animal.
It depends on the kind, I would imagine.
If it's a bite, the animal is going to bite the flower.
Well, no, we could...
If it's honestly what I'm looking for is a rodent. What I wanted to do is dig it up.
And then carry it across the river to us.
No, I'm thinking if we can dig it up and kind of knock it over, then we can just walk by and pick them up.
That still means crossing the river.
I don't know.
over to the thicket.
What do we think the best way to do
by the time we
this
go
is?
and collect it, we might as well have just gone over and taken it ourselves.
You're standing like a foot away, like,
Yeah.
pick that up.
Yeah, that one.
Wasn't us.
Wasn't us. See?
Oh, who put this here?
I suppose the alternative would be a bird of some kind could fly it up into the sky and drop it down into a specific point.
Again, a bird having the dexterity to remove root and stem flower.
We also have to do this 10 times.
I know. I'm just saying, I think there's almost no way that we go into this forest looking around at the watch that they do have,
Two
that we
options.
don't get into a fight, and I don't really want to kill these people over fucking
I
flowers.
think we should, first of all, if they engage us, we should try our best to engage them non-lethally.
I suppose.
I think,
Why are we already talking about fighting?
just
Well, because
if it
they're
comes up,
already here.
they're
What's your other one?
particularly vicious.
I think Saphira's right in that there's almost no way we can do this stealthily.
I don't know how.
There's too many of them.
They're everywhere.
What? I'm gonna point in like.
Unless
you're
we would-
saying there's one just here on the bank here,
On the opposite bank.
On the
barely,
opposite
not
bank,
even
yeah,
into
not-
the trees.
Yeah.
I think that is a perfect
And
opportunity to get one without really entering the forest proper.
Do you see an elf close to it in the spyglass?
when you were looking through, they're not on the bank, but you can see people passing between the trees. Like, they're definitely in the vicinity.
They're definitely there. Look, the reality is, we're either going to have to engage... We're going to have to engage them somehow. Be that verbally and try to negotiate with them. Might not work. Be
Have you
that...
seen an Elytrian up close?
Just the ones at Satyria's.
Yeah, at the
I
Vale
have
House.
spoken to them.
Could you make yourself look like one?
No.
I mean, I can make myself look like a giant tortoise and eat the flowers.
We can...
I don't know.
I
Give me a
think...
perception check as you're looking through the spyglass, still checking in with the... Sorry, go ahead, as she says she's looking.
6.
With each spyglass.
Oh, with advantage.
If you have the... gives you advantage on...
Oh my god.
6.
The only thing that you can see as you're looking through, just trying to keep an eye on the one sort of adult Ferris Familiad there, is a couple of the elves seem like they might be getting closer and closer to the bank. And it looks like one is kind of moving through the trees and maybe shouting to another one.
Honestly, it looks like they could be organizing something. They're talking to each other. They seem to be kind of gathering together. I don't know if they're looking for someone else, which would be ideal, because that would be the perfect way to get through here, is a distraction.
Do we literally approach them under the guise of informing them about these boxes?
I think that's what I
That's
was
not a terrible idea,
I was
that's
going
a
to
good
suggest
idea.
sort of a modified version of that, in that we go in, not trying to hide anything, and if someone says, hey, we say, oh, we found these boxes and we thought we saw one here and we were going to try and disarm it.
Exactly what I said. Yes.
Well, no, you were going to inform them, right? Or were you going to lie?
Inform them about the boxes. Say
That's
Yes,
not. Why do we
he's
need to
saying
lie?
we
It's
use
making
that
it more complicated.
as an excuse to be over there.
At a certain point,
And less of a declaration of good deeds and more of a...
Oh,
We saw one.
One of
Yeah.
us. Oh, all right. Better idea. What if one of us goes and sort of makes a hello scene and to inform them because someone has to
And then
pick
the other,
the plant.
Yeah, someone, and then someone else comes and gets the plants. That's
well,
not a
you'll
terrible
have an
idea.
audience of saying, "Hey, we've found these horrible explodey boxes." I think someone else can sneak in and pull the plant because we can't go in there and just pull a plant in front of them.
As this discussion's going on, they get closer and now, even without the spyglass, you can see that two of them are emerging, like out of the woods onto the bank, kind of, and they look like they're kind of looking around. And do you guys not want to be seen by them? Because as soon as they get to the bank, if they looked directly across, which they're not at the moment, they would be able to see you.
I don't think we hide. If we're gonna approach them, let's just be out.
Let's stay out.
Erlen's gonna hide. Erlen's gonna jump off his horse and hide.
Give me a stealth with advantage. They're not looking your direction. You have a moment.
Have one extra horse.
25.
25. You jump off and you kind of move between a couple.
And I'm still close enough that they can hear me, but the elves can't see me. Correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Erland, what the fuck?
He wants to be the one that secretly takes the plant while we talk to them.
If you speak to them, someone
okay.
does need to take the plant.
Erland, and Saphira's gonna kind of trying to look like, oh, I'm not doing anything. Just tries to slip
Erland's
him the
gonna-
piece of paper. Oh my god.
You do so. Give me perception checks, except for Erland, who can't really see out from the brush that he's hiding behind.
Yeah, 21.
Dove off my horse into some bushes.
Yeah, you did.
Did you roll your
Gosh.
perception as well?
Oh no, I did not. 11.
11. So the two, sorry, what were
14.
14?
21.
21. For Orba and Graven, who Severe was in the middle of, I was kind of handing off the diagram there, but Graven and Orba, who are standing there on the bank, they don't notice you. They come out onto the bank and they look like they're looking for something on the ground, almost like scouting the area a little bit. And one is like, 30, 40 feet to his right, a little further down the bank. And he shouts to him. He's sort of speaking in Elvish. So he's sort of, and he sort of says something else to him. Molos kanamogo gerfo figo. And they continue to kind of look along the bank there.
Saphira, did you catch that? Did you
Did
hear
I hear what they said?
Give me a performance check, both of you, to see if you can repeat what they were saying.
Oh,
there.
Performance?
Yeah.
Oh, 16?
15.
16.
Okay. You're able to, with kind of broken Elvish, so you're trying to like work through what they're saying. Sounds familiar enough.
We're good for.
Your accent's absolute shit, mate.
It sounds like they said, She was here for the iron roots last time.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We keep eyes and ears and set traps where they grow along the border.
Oh god.
So they're like, look, they're pointing at spots on the bank there. One of them kind of goes over and just like digs a little in the dirt, and he seems to motion to the other one like this is a good spot, or pointing at a little spot on the dirt there.
Erland, can you hear me?
What does that mean?
Yes, okay, so they're saying that apparently the halfling who they're hunting down goes for these plants, so some of them are trapped. We need 10 of them. They have to be above the ground at least a foot, and they have to be budding, okay?
They are looking for someone who is also trying to get these same
Yeah,
flowers.
they are, and they're already setting traps. There have already been traps set, so be careful.
Where did they say around the bank that they set traps?
It doesn't. They just said we set traps where they grow along our border.
They said that they just sat them where they grow, so I have no idea. You just got to be careful.
Do we try to ingratiate ourselves right now?
Yes, and we have an extra horse. Erland's not here.
Or can Orva look up really quickly into
we
the
can't
trees
hide your
and just
bags, though, can we?
look for
Give
the
me a perception
halfling?
check, yeah.
I guess there's
I have my
stuff.
pouch on pouch. So you have a
14?
14, not that you see, and in the canopies here are not as thick, so someone like moving through the canopy would be obvious here, and you do not see someone.
Okay.
Perhaps someone who can speak Elven should communicate, but I
yeah,
can come with you
sorry,
across the
yes,
water.
I will go first.
It is still too deep to walk through.
Yeah,
you would
we'd
need
have
to swim,
to swim
along the
across.
middle. You'd be able to wade kind of in, swim a little bit, and then wade to the other side if that's what you were trying to do.
Perhaps, as we get to the bank, tell them that we're coming to them with a warning about
I will say
danger, and that's why
I
we're
will
coming.
greet them. Yes. Okay.
Here we go.
You guys hopping off your horse?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep my pack with my horse.
Okay.
And should we not bring weapons?
No, I think that's odd. I think we should have our weapons on us. I mean, we've been traveling through and we were just disarming boxes. It's not completely out of the ordinary.
You guys
Obviously,
hop off?
let's not come at them with them cocked, but you know.
Yeah, we're coming.
Like two-handed hammer.
Oh my god.
You guys hop off your horses. You
Yep.
get down to the bank there. You stepping into the water.
Yeah.
Great.
And
You want to say
A little bit.
anything?
Yeah,
the
so
water.
as soon
So
as I
he's
feel
still
like they
kind of
can
looking
see
up.
me, I want to kind of wave a little bit with like a plaintive.
He sees you waving and immediately.
In Elven,
Ivan, no, please. We came here because there were boxes. They were exploding. I don't know if you know about them, but they nearly set the forest on fire.
He looks to the other one down, and now the other one sort of catches his eye, and he sees you guys as well. Are you continuing to move forward?
No, look, we're not trying to hurt you. We just came to warn you about the boxes. They've nearly killed us. Please.
And he says in Elvish back to you, "No further."
Okay, I don't need to. I just wanted to tell you about the boxes.
Tell them about the two that are putting them.
Okay.
And describe them.
Sorry, there were two people who were doing it. Can I describe? I don't remember what they were.
Yeah, you can describe their appearance, yeah.
So they said that they were a gift, and we just took them at their word, and we rode by. And the next one we rode by, we wanted to make sure that it wasn't something bad. And
We have seen the boxes.
okay. I just wanted to make sure you didn't die.
Tell them we disabled one.
Oh, sorry, we disabled one. We wanted to let you know it was by I suppose there's been a patch of blight or something.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm not understanding the Elven.
Yeah.
You're not. No.
As this is
Yes,
going
as
on,
this is going on.
as I hear them having a conversation, I want to move like. So the one guy started moving against the river? Or
Yeah, he went upstream a little bit.
Okay, so I want to go sort of the opposite direction, like staying in sort of the bushes on the other
Give me a stealth
side.
check.
Let's go like 50 feet-ish.
Okay, sure. 50 feet.
I know.
22.
22, sort of just between the sort of brush and shrubs, kind of.
I just basically want to try and find a spot where I could conceivably get myself to the river and underwater without being seen if they're talking over there. I don't know how far away that would have to be, or if I need like a rocky outcropping or something.
The river is not bending enough that you're going to be like out of sight, so you need to move like quite a bit down to be like small enough that they wouldn't see you as you entered the water. As long as they're looking out toward the river.
Okay, yeah. I mean, how long would it take me to get a little bit further? Pretty quick.
Just, yeah, a couple like.
Okay, great. I'm gonna,
If
so
you
I'll,
quickly
I'll
come.
move that sort of
Right. You
there,
use
and try and get to a point where I can kind of dart and get to the water.
You stick your head out a little bit and you look, and they're small in the distance now as you've
Yeah.
moved further and further down the bank.
And I'm gonna quickly
go and dive underwater.
Give me a stealth check.
Oh my god.
Hold that breath, baby.
No!
8. It's just like you and the Elatrian elf just hear like the slightest splash of water and
The tree. Tell them about the tree and
Oh,
something.
do you know
distract
also-
them.
he starts to walk down the bank in that direction of the noise, and the other one comes closer to like keep an eye on you two.
Oh, did you know about the treant as well? It seems to be infected with some kind of wilting blight. It's throwing things into the river. I don't know if it's contaminating anything, but it's been walking around really upset.
We know of the treant.
Okay, is there anything else we can do to help?
No, you can stay away.
Okay, are you sure? You look like you're looking for someone.
We will find them.
Keep them talking. Ask
Do
them
you
if
want
there's
me
danger.
to? Do you want me to help you? Should we be looking for them? This person? Is it?
No, I
Okay.
don't need help from you.
Okay. Are you okay? Do you? Are you sure there's nothing I can do?
Yes.
How fast was that guy moving toward where Erlen jumped
He wasn't
in?
sprinting, but he's kind of walking because he didn't know exactly where that noise came from. He's like looking on the water and like walking further down. He's
Can Orba quickly tie up the horses and go in that direct, like follow Erlen's track?
sure, they're like down the side of the bank there,
Yeah,
but
she's
behind.
gonna try to do it a
Yep.
little quickly,
Sure.
and then she's gonna start like finding larger rocks,
Okay.
and she's gonna just start like mocking some glee and just like boringly throwing some like rocks into the river.
Give me a performance check.
And I will. How far away is the guy that's left at this point?
The one that was talking to you and
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
50 feet.
All right, I'm gonna think, not knowing what they're saying. I'm gonna try to frustratingly be like, kind of loudly come towards the water a bit. Like, you don't understand. The treant was making all this noise and just cleaning out.
Sorry.
How
but
far
my-
forward do you move?
5-10 feet.
Give me a persuasion check with disadvantage.
Oh, goodness.
Persuasion with disadvantage. Oh wow, 15.
Holy
15.
Yeah.
He whips the bow and pulls back.
No,
the
please.
draw.
He's a friend. Please.
I don't
he's-
understand what you're
He
saying. I
doesn't
just
know what
wanna-
you're saying.
I
Please.
wanna make
He doesn't
sure you
understand
know.
Elvish.
Tell him to back up.
Okay, can you back off, Graven, please?
There's many dangers.
Tell him to back
I'm
up.
slowly backing up.
Look, I know you're probably going to say no, but is there any way we could negotiate passage through here?
Passage through where?
Just literally up here because we're going north further. We're bounty hunters, and we didn't want to tread on anyone's toes, but we followed the boxes, and now we're in a bit of a pickle. So, we're stuck. I'm sorry. We're actually kind of stuck
The
here.
road works fine for bounty hunters.
Oh. Which, Interfera's gonna feign, like, complete confusion. What road are you... I haven't seen a road.
You came from it.
No, I know, but then we went off it.
It's right behind you.
Okay.
Do they understand the dangers on this side
They
of the
do,
river?
yes, they know about the treant. I'm gonna say in common. Yes, I told them about the treant, and they know about the boxes, and...
Okay, as this is going on, what was the roll there? 4. The rock makes a little blip in the water, and you catch his attention for a moment, but it wasn't a big enough splash. He sort of immediately shakes his head and continues on along the bank there.
Can Orba catch that and look for a bigger rock?
Sure, give me an investigation check. So are you coming up for air?
How does it take me more than 30 seconds to cross?
No, it would not take you more than 30. You would come up on the other bank.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna, if I still have a couple seconds of air,
You're aware that when you dove into the water, it made a decent splash. So
Okay.
you have it in your head that, you know, you might have made
so
a little
using
more.
sort of the last little bit of air, I just want to like, just a little bit.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Just to see if I can see anything. I don't want to
Carol
bark it
style.
up.
Okay, give me a
Yeah.
perception check.
As you just go above the surface.
18.
18. Your head comes up, and fortune have it, there's a few other kind of stones and rocks, and your hair, your wet hair, almost like a mossy rock, sort of drapes to the sides, and your eyes kind of peek up, and you can see that Elatrian elf. He's maybe 80 feet away on the bank, like looking toward the water. He has not seen you, but he's like looking in the water toward the bank there.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I can't hold my breath for too long. So when I get a moment where he's looking away, I'm gonna try and quickly and quietly get out of the water and into the trees.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
25.
Oh my god!
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Just between the rocks, you kind of almost like a fish on the boardwalk, like, and then you roll and scamper into the woods. and you look around, and these big trunked, thick trees of Trickster's Thicket, you kind of marvel at the size of the wooded kind of vegetation around you.
Sorry, do I have a sense of any Elatrians other than the guy that I know about?
Give me a perception check. What were you saying?
I'm gonna start like gesturing towards the guy who's gone and be like, tell him, make sure that you understand the
He
dangers.
cocks his head. It occurs to you that definitely not all Elatrians speak common. Like the ones that came to negotiate with Satyria, they sent people who could also
I'm gonna
speak
kind of
common.
sensing any tension. Sorry, he's telling you to tell your friend what I told you.
I will, and he knows.
Okay,
Go back to the other side.
we'll go back to the road. Be safe, please.
Look,
And I'm gonna sort of like looking like backing. I want to back off.
You guys back further, and he relaxes the draw of the bow a little bit.
Look,
did Erlen jump into the river?
yeah, he got through. I saw him get through the other
I
side.
saw him get through.
Well, actually, I don't know if I did.
Well, because you knew what the splash was, whereas the Elatrian elf didn't. You didn't see where Erlen went, but you saw him. You saw like just a quick like sploot of water as he.
Lots of fart.
So you don't know where he went.
He looked literally like a fish out of water, but I think he made it. So, look, I think the best we can do is get our asses wandered back to the road and hope to all fuck
He doesn't get noticed.
he doesn't get caught. And if he does, obviously we're running back in and trying to kill them.
Doing anything else during this time?
Orba rolled a 21 on looking
You
for a
found
big
a
rock.
nice big, you found one pebble, tossed it, and then you sort of, it's this big kind of loose stone by the side there.
Okay, Orba's gonna do like a big, like granny between the legs,
Great.
like heave ho, and then whoop.
Give me an athletics check.
Oh my god. You're gonna drop it on your toe. Oh my god. Don't drop it on your toe.
Oh my god, takes 3 damage.
Athletics.
From a
8.
stub
You
toe.
don't get it out there that far, but it makes a big enough kind of full splash of water. And Erland, who can hear kind of the footsteps of someone approaching along the bank there, kind of, you hear his like turn on his heel and look back.
Taking
toward the
that
water.
opportunity to start dashing towards where I know there is one of the.
Okay, give me another stealth check.
And while I'm doing that, I'd like to be aware of as much as possible of either traps or other bromeliads as
Sure.
I'm moving. Stealth?
Yeah, with advantage with the distraction of Orma.
I mean, both are pretty good. 23.
I mean, I'm fine either way.
Both the ground here is less sort of riddled with twigs and dried branches like the other side was. It's a very kind of soft, even grass, and it has almost this kind of, all the trees at the base have this kind of mossy gradation, and you step along and it's very quiet on your footsteps, and the tree trunks are much bigger. Like dashing between each trunk, you're fully covered from anything that's on the other side of it. You have like no vision from the other side at all. You kind of move.
How many were there in total? There was the guy following me. There was the guy mostly talking to Saphira.
Just the two that you saw
Okay.
so far, yes. There's just
There
the two
could have
that
been more
came.
movement
in the
Yeah,
trees.
as far as you could tell, just the two along the back there. So you get closer and closer and closer, and finally you get to where you think you're about in the right spot, and you peek your head out, and you see Graven and Saphira, like on the other side there, so you're about in the right spot.
Do I see the bromeliad?
You do. It's right there on the bank. You guys sort of were right at the spot that you thought it might be.
Is it within the cover of the trees?
No, it's
or-
out on the bank. It's like growing along the bank.
Okay, do I see the guy?
Yeah, he's walking very slowly back in the direction that he came from, so downstream.
Into the
upstream.
woods or just along
No,
the
along the
stream?
bank.
Okay.
But walking away from you.
Okay. I'm gonna wait there for a sec until he's away. And do I hear the other guy walking the other? Are they basically doing this now?
The other guy looked in the direction of Orba's splash, and then he turned back and is continuing further down. So they're going in opposite directions.
Great. I'm gonna wait until it seems like that guy's cleared a little bit. Let's call it about the same distance that I jumped in last time. If
Okay.
That makes sense. Sure. Okay.
You hear footsteps moving quieter and quieter.
I'm scanning for Erland to see if I
Okay,
see
give me a
him
perception check
across
there. Saphira, you can give me one too as you guys are watching.
10.
10. Damn, we suck.
One last check, sort of into the woods to see if I see any.
You do not.
I'm gonna sort of
Oh,
get low and
baby.
creep out and try
Oh,
and get to the.
Give me a
baby.
perception check as you're moving there.
Perception? 19.
19. As you start to get close,
No, he
you
does, I
step
told him.
like onto where
told
it
him
starts
about
to
the
get
traps.
pebbles and then sand, and you stop because you see a very fine kind of wire right there at your foot, like between two very short sticks that are sort of a little distance, maybe 5 feet across. And it looks like there's multiple of these, but you know, along the bank here. And you step, and then you carefully step over it. And right there on the ground in front of you, you see the stem.
So from the root, I'm gonna try
Be
and...
careful. Dig it up. Don't hurt the root ball.
Give me a dexterity check with advantage. You can take a second here quietly. You're not trying to book it.
Same.
All right.
21.
Great. You dig a little along the sides, and then the little roots come up with it. And you have it there. in your
Okay,
hand.
it's like a foot, so can I like kind of put it under my cloak a little bit?
You could definitely put it.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it under my cloak, and I'm gonna give a check to see if the guys are still looking away.
They're still walking in opposite directions.
Great, I'm gonna quickly and quietly try and not dive in this time, but because I see they're walking away, and almost like crawl into the water and submerge slowly and start.
You do?
We see it. We see it.
Like a little snake.
You see him kind of working his way along the water there. You get to the other bank.
And I'm going to and try and get hidden on the other side of the bank, walk past them.
So they have pretty much kind of diverged in two separate directions.
Great, so I want to hide in the sort of other side.
Sure, in the
of
brush there, yeah. You have.
You've got it.
Yes.
It's okay. We have to go.
We should keep moving forward. You should keep moving forward without me, and I will try and keep up alongside, just so that when the elf who is moving with the flow of the water downstream.
You're still not part of us.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna put.
I've got that chest. We were gonna put the flowers in.
So great. Come here then.
Be careful, don't damage it.
I'll very carefully give him.
It's wet, but it seems in good condition.
Put it in the.
I was able to get the entire sort of root
Perhaps
system.
later we'll put some soil in here with it, but for now I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
we
close
should
it
put
up.
some soil in there.
All right. Ride, and
Settle down.
I'll obviously fall a little
As
bit
you're
behind,
kind of
but-
placing it in there, you watch as a third figure kind of emerges from the woods, sort of coming out to the bank, so not one of those two people. And he looks like he's looking around and sort of checking the traps. He looks down close to the ground and sort of just touches, you can't see this, but Erlen knows that it's like a small kind of tripwire there that he touches.
Yeah.
And then he kind of curiously,
Stop moving.
Let's go. Go, 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 go,
he
go.
bends down to one knee to kind of look at the spot there,
We're going.
and he looks up. And that's where we're gonna end.
One down. Nice
One.
to go.
Bremilia down.
Down. Oh,
There
baby.
you go. A successful heist.
Yes, I love a good heist. That was actually really exciting. Good job, Erlen. Good stealth rolls.
There's an elf.
Good stealth rolls.
Ooh, we've made some Sea of Thieves jokes. We made some
Payday jokes.
That is where we're going
stuff.
to end tonight's stream. Well done, everyone. Pretty successful. Disarmed the box. Got yourself a Ferris Bromeliad.
Oh, I never thought we would
Pranks
see
the
the
half
day.
elves.
Yes, pranked us.
I don't have building blood anymore.
Yes,
Yeah,
well,
you're
we
welcome.
didn't detect diseases,
Thank
so I'm
you.
not convinced that you don't have like
Thank
some
you.
little bit of it still in you or something.
He's
but
fine.
I hope he's fine.
I got it all out.
Nah, we'll see.
That is where we're going to pick it up next week with, once again, for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, our first guest of season 2.
It's a good theory. It's a really
And
good
we
theory.
are
Oh,
going
he
to
has a theory.
see what exactly we have in store for our guest and how they might be able to assist or throw a wrench into the plan.
New friends, new enemies.
Yeah.
Friends, new foes.
We've had a little bit of both.
Our guest is just 9 Bromeliads.
Oh my god.
Our guest is that Elatrian
Should I
elf, and
bring-
they're just trying to kill you. The whole time.
Should I bring one of my bromeliads from home as a prop next time? We'll have a little
Definitely.
prop.
And if you can't pick it up without making any noise, then you failed.
Oh gosh, we got a hype train, guys.
Oh.
Toot-toot on the exit. Okay, let me see.
Toot
where-
toot.
Toot. Crazy Locha. I hope I'm saying that correctly now. Gifted
Damn it, we still
community
haven't
subs.
gotten
No, they sent it, and I wanted to make sure it was a TCHA. So Crazy Locha sounds right to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Seth 1690 gave out a community sub. Crazy Locha gave out 5 more community subs. Cool Shaver did 400. GF Powers did 100, and Crazy Locha did 500 bits. And that's why we own a hype train.
Thank you guys so much for
congrats.
riding the hype train with us, as it were.
Oh, Pocodoga did 45! Oh, I killed it! Yeah, crazy lunch. I got it! That's right.
We know now.
Perfect.
So with the words of Niels Bogus
Viking
ringing
Plague
in
did
your
1,000.
ear.
1,000. Needed to squeeze that one in.
That's okay. Thank you guys so much.
it,
Again,
baby.
you know, constantly in awe of the generosity of this community.
Don't want to do 1,000. You gotta give it like
Stop
another
squeezing it in,
like a
Jordan.
buffer. We gotta honor it.
We
We
do.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
do.
hey, Shadow Matt is until I say see you next time.
He's so good.
Again, so blown away by the generosity of this community. All the Discord's comments and everything. We read them constantly, respond to them constantly. It really is so awesome interacting with all the people that are just excited to play and
Yeah, tell us
watch.
your guest theories in the Discord.
Is it the
Who's the
Eladrian?
guest?
Is it the Treant come back to
That would be.
dying of wilting
yes.
blight throughout the
not
episode?
the
whole episode, save me!
The whole episode is Erlen, like, the whole episode is Erlen just trying not to be touched.
Please no.
And Crazy
Crazy
Locha just
Locha.
gifted 10 more subs. My
thank you.
God,
You're the craziest Locha I've ever seen.
So I hope you guys are excited. We are so excited to have our guest. So next week, please join us, same time, 7 o'clock here on Sunday, and we will be ready to dive back into Trickster's Thicket /
I ain't going in there. That's a shit ass place. I ain't
Terrible. Very pretty trees.
It is beautiful.
keep
It's like the redwoods.
fine.
Yes, very pristinely kept by the Elatrian elves. But that is where we will pick it up next time here for chapter 4 of season 2 of A Peek Beneath the Veil. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you so much.
yeah.
We miss you already, and we can't wait for next Sunday. We'll see you then. Have a good one, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.